everybody in this district would really like to see 3 teams get into the postseason from the River Ridge district. And everybody, all the teams are playing to be the automatic seed, but there are other opportunities available.
Harley, let's take this break. We're going to take a break. Kickoff coming right up here on 101.7 FM. Blacksburg High School football taking on the K-Spring Knights. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I want to make a difference, and change happens one person at a time.
Giving a little can go a long way.
I give to the United Way because I believe in helping in my community wherever I can.
Welcome back on this Friday night. It's Blacksburg High School football on 101.7 FM Super Talk Radio, and Harley Dixon with me, John Hale, doing the play-by-play tonight. And the Bruins now 4-1 on this season. And Harley, right now when you look at the top 20 in the state, the River Ridge District, they have 4 in the top 15, and of course Salem ranked number 2.
Yeah, and it's that's really impressive. In the state, you've got 4 teams in the River Ridge District that are ranked in the top 20. What does that say about the River Ridge District? It's got to be the most competitive district right now in the state, because I don't think any other district has 4 teams in the top 20 like the River Ridge does.
And you have Hidden Valley taking on Pulaski tonight, and of course that's a big game. And you're talking about all these teams, and Harley, we said it before, you cannot come to any one of these football games not ready to play.
You're absolutely right. You got to be ready to play. If you're not ready to play, you're not going to win. If you're ready to play, if you're all pumped up and you've got your coaching and your practicing done and everything went right, then you've got a chance to win. There's still no guarantees until you actually, and that's why you play the game in the first place. You can talk about who's doing this and who's tweaked what and who's kicking farther, but until you actually get on the field and play the game and everybody's got the same conditions, light weather, the chill in the air tonight, whatever's going on, everybody has to deal with the same thing. So until you actually play the game, you can talk all you want.
Captains on the field for Blacksburg. It's Nathan Hoppes, Daniel Everstreet, Robert Sterrett, and Trenton Waddell. And the captains for K-Spring were Darrell Keeling out there, and also number 55, Tucker Green. And, once again, folks, this is the best in high school football you're going to find around anywhere. I'm not talking about the state of Virginia. We're talking across the country. And when you got 6 teams in a district that are vying for a regional spot, and you're talking about AA football, when you got Amherst, who's ranked number 1 in the state, folks, they got the best quarterback in the state. They got probably 2 of the best running backs, 1 of the best wide receivers. You're talking about talent galore. And, of course, K-Spring, you've got the alumni such as Tiki and Rondé Barber.
Yeah, and, you've got you can look at ESPN or wherever you want, and they survey their top 25 high schools in the country, but those are individual teams in an individual place. And here you've got all this competition right in one district in the state of Virginia. That's a major challenge for all the teams there, but it also says a lot about the competition and the quality of games. It's going to be really entertaining.
Oh, you better believe it. Now, Blacksburg will be receiving, moving from left to right here in Bill Brown Stadium, and K-Spring will be kicking off, and the kicker tonight is going to be Adam Dyer. The 5'9", 165-pounder Blacksburg once again coming into this game 4-1. And this is the start of the River Ridge District. We'll keep you up to date on some of the other scores from around the area. And some big games tonight. One in Montgomery County is Auburn taking on Eastmont out of the Three Rivers District. We'll get a score on that as well. So, anyway, kicking it off now for K-Spring, dressed in their white tops and black pants and black helmets. Blacksburg in the solid blue uniforms with the gold numbers and blue helmets with the gold stripe running down the middle of it. Here we go, the beginning of the ball game. Here's the kickoff, and it's a nice high end-over-end kick. It's taken by Spencer Link. Link at the 15, has some running room, crosses the 20, has a hole, moves across the 25, and brought down at the 27-yard line. Good coverage from Avon Sexton of K-Spring as he brings them down there, so the Bruins will have it 1st and 10.
Just not quite fast enough to hit that hole. There were some blocks set up here to the right side, but just not quite quick enough to catch with the speed to get through there and make a run to the end zone.
So Trey Gresh, the junior quarterback for the Bruins, brings his offense out onto the field, and this talented young man is throwing for 160 yards a game. Wide to the left now goes our TWIP receivers. That's going to be Keys out there. Also it's Josh Reynolds. And wide to the right is Woodell. Here's Dresch in the shotgun. Here's the handoff, goes to Latrell Keys over left tackle, picks up maybe a yard on the play. And the tackle's made by the outside linebacker for Cave Spring, and that was Brady Stovall.
Talk about people battling a bit of a tweak, a bit of an injury. That would be Waddell as well, who is nice to see him actually get the start with the injury he's working with.
Substitutions in for Blacksburg now. Josh Reynolds in there. Also tied in is Aaron Barber. Wide left goes Reynolds. Wide right comes Keys. I formation now for the Bruins on 2nd down and 9. Tied in to the right side. Opening minutes here of the first quarter. No score. Resch, the quarterback, hands it off to Latrell Keys. Keys gets to the outside, crosses the 30 to the 35, and knocked out of bounds right around the 37-yard line, very close to the first down. Once again, depending on the spot, and I think he got the first, Harley.
Yeah, what I tell you, there's a difference in high school and even, college or the next level, whatever you want to call it. And I think in the next level, what you want to do is you want to administer the hit. And Latrell Keys kind of hit the brakes, trying to make a move and finesse around the defender when he really just should have run through the defender.
Keys and Reynolds now go wide to the left. 2 tight ends in the offense now for Blacksburg. To the right is Eric Huff. In the I formation, tailback is Latrell Keys, and here's the play-action pass moving out to the left side. Is Trey Grish throws it to the left side, has it complete to Reynolds down across the 50 into Cave Spring territory right about the 49-yard line. So a nice toss and catch go from Grish to Reynolds.
Yeah, with a couple of runs, the Cave Spring still looking for a little bit of a run, and all came to the right. The play went to the left, and players spread all over the field. The spread offense had people all over and left the receiver wide open.
The second first down now for the Bruins here in this drive. The ball spotted right at the 50. The nose of the football sitting right on the white stripe. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. And then the shotgun is Trey Gish. Single set back is Latrell Keys. Here standing at his 45, hands off the Keys, goes over right tackle, and he struggles for about 2 yards on the play, where he's brought down by the interior of the Cave Spring line.
Straight up the middle, doing a little testing, a little probing, see how their defense is going to stand up, how their line's going to stand up, and how your offensive line is going to open some holes. So a little probing, a little testing to start the game and run straight up the middle.
We'll be calling this number 17. You'll hear it, Brady Stovall. He is a pretty good college prospect right now, folks. He's 6'2", 230. He's one of those inside linebackers, and this kid's going to make a lot of plays tonight, so don't be surprised if you hear that Stovall name mentioned. 2 receivers to the right and the left, and the shotgun is Trey Grish on 2nd and 8. Single setback is Latrell Keys. 10:25 to go here in the first period. No score. Grish, the quarterback, back in the pocket, throws it out to the near side. Incomplete. Overthrows Reynolds at the 40. So it's going to bring up 3rd down and long now for the Bruins. And it was a nice break on the ball by Reynolds, but also some good coverage from Tyler Cavanis.
Watching the line play on that one, and the Blacksburg offensive line doing a real good job standing up the rush of the Cave Spring defensive line and slowing them down so that Gresh had time to get the ball away.
So Blacksburg now on a 3rd and long, as they have twip receivers to the right, but let's see what's going on here. I think there's a flag down. There is, and they're talking to Stovall, the captain, the defensive captain for Cave Spring. And I'm not sure what it is. I didn't see the flag fall.
No, I still don't see a flag in the field.
So illegal participation. Legal precipitation, as Steve calls it. Okay, so it's declined. It's 3rd down and 8 for the Bruins. And in the lineup now comes Joey Phillips, also wide receiver Reese Whitsitt, and he'll be one of the tight ends as well. So anyway, here we go, 3rd down and long. Greg Keys and Reynolds are wide to the right. And a tight end to the left for Blacksburg I formation. Grish, the quarterback, under center. Here's the play action pass, comes out to the right side. He rolls, he throws, he has a receiver open, and it's almost intercepted. A nice break on the ball by the defensive back for Cave Spring, and that was Tyler Cavanis. And, Greg Keys was open momentarily. It looked like he had him, but a great break on the ball by Cavanis.
And a little bit, in the rollout of Trey's rollout, he just needed another half a second before he should have thrown the ball a half a second earlier. This is what I'm trying to say. That would have gotten the ball to Greg Keys for the first down.
Caleb Violet standing back at his own 38, deep for Cave Spring, standing back at his own 10.
Intention is to punt, let's say that.
Is Adam Dyer. Opening moments here, 10:14 to go, no score in the first period. Here's Violet with a kick, and it's almost blocked, but he still gets it off, and the ball's going to hit right about the Cave Spring 19, rolls to the 20, rolls back to the 22-yard line where Blacksburg will down it. So 1st and 10 by Caleb Violet, but boy, oh boy, I'm going to tell you what, he almost got that block, Harley.
Yeah, it was really close.
So now the Knights will have it 1st and 10, and here's this offense, folks. I'm going to tell you what, once again, they got 2 good running backs. Now, coming off a 42-0 victory, I know that Coach Tim Fulton is really looking for this series to be huge for them. All right, here we go. 1st and 10. 10 minutes ago here in the first period, no score. 2 tight ends, 2 wing backs, single setback. It's like the old Notre Dame offense from 30 years ago. Here's the inside reverse, and it's going to be a double reverse, and there's a fumble on the play. And let's see, Blacksburg picks it up. Blacksburg's got it, I think, back at the 24-yard line. No, Cave Springs got it. That ball went everywhere.
I don't think anybody ever got control of that ball. It just kept squibbing out and went out of bounds, I think.
Wow, Daniel Downing got it on a double reverse and ended up fumbling it. And Blacksburg kid recovered it, Cave Spring recovered it, and went out of bounds. So now it's 2nd down and 10.
And you're talking about all the things that you want to happen on your first drive. That ain't it.
No, absolutely.
I mean, you are looking for big things. This is Cave Spring's first drive. You're looking to see how they're going to stand up against the Blacksburg defense and fumbling the ball out of bounds. At least it went out of bounds for Cave Spring.
They say it rolled out at the 25, so they picked up a yard on that play. 2nd down and 9. Here's that double wing offense. Now the tight ends go wide to the right and the left. So the single setback, and here's the handoff, and it's going to be a handoff to Downing in the backfield, and he's hit back behind the line of scrimmage, back at about the 21, so he loses 3 yards on the play. It's 3rd down now and about 13, and Blacksburg, the Bruins were all over that play.
Yeah, Nathan Hopkins didn't let that go anywhere. I don't think the intent was ever to hand it off. I think Downing his intention was to make the quarterback run up the right side for Cave Spring, and Nathan wouldn't have anything to do with that. He caught him very, very quickly.
So 3rd and 13 now for the Knights. In the backfield is Darrell Keeling. He's a 6'2", 200-pound running back. In the shotgun now is Daniel Downing. He takes the ball, moves to the near side, gets some pressure, throws it to the back out of the backfield, and it's going to be incomplete. But great coverage by Blacksburg Spencer Link, and the intended receiver was Keeling, so it brings up 4th down, and Cave Spring will punt it away.
Yeah, Keeling didn't really have a play on that ball. It was out in front of him, and we talked about that's not the way. If you're Cave Spring, that's not the way you want to start your first offensive series. Now, if you're Blacksburg, that's definitely the way you want to start your first defensive series. And you moved them backwards, not giving them any forward progress at all.
Jay Barrett, the punter, standing back at his own 6. Greg Keys for the Bruins, waiting to receive the punt, standing back at his own 38. Here's a kick. It's a muff kick, and Blacksburg's going to recover it. Picked up by someone, I got the number, but a touchdown by Blacksburg.
Down. No, they're calling him down.
They're going to say it's down at the 2-yard line. So number 17 for the Bruins, and Walter Gachana picks it up, so the Bruins will have it 1st and 10. They mark the nose of the football right at the goal line, Harley.
Which is, what I'm saying. This is the kind of open you want on your defense, and not the kind you want for Cave Spring.
Great rush by the Bruins.
And now it's going to be a chance to see how Cave Spring reacts mentally, because they're getting down. They lost 42-0 last game. Is this the way they start this one, and is that the way this game is going to go as well? That's what's running through their heads.
That was not a good snap by their center. By their deep snapper. All right, here we go. Blacksburg 1st and goal, inches from the goal line. Trey Gress, the quarterback, under center. Single setback as Latrell Keys. Handoff goes to Keys. He goes over for a touchdown. Give him 6. With 8:57 to go here in the first period, Blacksburg goes up 6-0. We're talking about field position. This is the kind of field position you like all game long.
Certainly. And that's one of Coach's keys, special teams, and that's exactly what that was. A special teams rush the snap so that the snapper from Cave Spring didn't have time to get the snap he wanted. Then the punter was a little flustered because the snap didn't come right. Put the ball on the ground and never had a chance to really get it up and get it off. When he tried to make the kick, it wouldn't go anywhere.
Here's one of the state's best kickers, Caleb Violet, for an extra point. It's up, and it's going to be no good. It's partially blocked, and I think that was just a low kick. So the score will stay 6-0. Blacksburg up with 8:57 to go. Let's pause for this 60-second timeout and hear these words from our sponsors. You are listening to Blacksburg Bruin Football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Okay, we've got 2 8 o'clocks and then 8:30. I'm on my way. Haven't forgotten anything? Of course I haven't forgotten anything. Are you nuts? A little bit more professional than that. There's just not enough hours in the day.
There's easier ways to get internet on the go. Select Blacksburg Transit buses now offer free Wi-Fi wireless internet to facilitate all of your online needs. Just look for the Wi-Fi sign. Blacksburg Transit. Take a ride on the Information Superhighway.
There's been so many things that held us down, But now it looks like things are finally coming around. No stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping.
All right, here's a kickoff, and Cave Springs up man is going to take it. That's Adam Dyer at the 10-yard line, finally brought down at the 14. So the Knights will take it over 1st and 10 here, trailing 6-0, 8:54 to go here in the first.
Let's go again. This is about where they tried to punt from last time and see if they get a different result for Cave Spring.
Great coverage by the Bruins on special teams, and I know Dave Chris, they practice that intently. It's kind of like a Frank Beamer.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a specialty here in Blacksburg, I'm thinking.
Chris ball. Let's call it Chris ball. How about that? All right, 1st and 10 now for Cave Spring on their own 14. Here's the quarterback under center is Downing, and there goes that inside reverse, goes to the wing back, goes to the far side, Tyler Cavaness. He's going to pick up maybe a yard as he crosses the 15, and he picks up 2 on the play, 2nd down and 8, and Nathan Hopkins there for the tackle.
Yeah, we talked a little bit during the break about the punt, and you're right. The punter never really got a connection with the ball. He tried to get the punt off and whiffed on it and hit the ground for the Blacksburg recovery on that punt a couple of minutes ago.
That was all so hard to see. It was so quick, and so a great job by the Blacksburg defense on that play. Here we go, 2nd and 8 now for Cave Spring at their own 16 in motion from left to right goes the wing back. And the running back's going to be hitting the backfield for a loss of about 2 or 3 on the play, so it's going to be 3rd down and long once again for Cave Spring, and Blacksburg was all over that one.
Yeah, Joey Phillips was the one who read that and snuffed it out and got him down for the loss, I believe.
So we're going to see a lot of reverses tonight, this double wing offense. You're going to see fake reverses. You're going to see an isolation play up the middle from their fullback. But they do a lot of different things, and Cave Spring not afraid to throw it either. And in one ball game this year, they threw it 27 times, completing 13 of it. So we know they can throw it. All right, here we go, 3rd and long now for the Knights at their own 13-yard line. Here's the quarterback Downing, and he gets hit back at about the 4-yard line. And on the play was Joey Phillips, also from his outside linebacker spot, Latrell Key, so it brings up 4th down.
Yeah, they're going to mark him down at the 5. End of his forward progress was at the 5. That's a little generous, I think. But
Daniel Downing had no opportunity at all.
We talked about this in the pregame. The quickness of Blacksburg versus the size of the offensive line for Cave Spring. The quickness is going to win this one.
All right, here we go. Here's the punter, and that's going to be Jerry Barrett standing back at his end zone line here. Here's the snap. Here's the kick. He gets this one off, and Greg Keys is going to field it at the Cave Spring 41. He jukes and jives, crosses the 35, stiffs arm one of the players, is dragged across the 30 down to the 29-yard line. So Greg Keys on a 12-yard return puts Blacksburg at the Cave Spring 29-yard line in 1st and 10.
Now that brings up a point. You see Greg Keys, he stiff-armed the defender right in the forehead, the crown of the helmet. Well, not quite the crown, but the forehead of the helmet. And this is one of the things that you'll see in all levels of football, and I'm wondering why it's legal for an offensive player to stiff arm or put a hand to the face of the defender, but you can't do that on offense. You can't do that.
You can't grab.
No, you can't grab the face mask anywhere, but you can still push off, and it doesn't seem like a fair.
It's one of those rules.
Yeah, it's
one of those rules. 1st and 10 now for the Bruins at the Cave Spring 29. 6:47 to go here in the first. Blacksburg up 6-0. Spencer Link in motion now from right to left. Here's a handoff, goes to Link. It looked like he was going to try to pass the ball. He scoots back to the line of scrimmage, and he's brought down there by the outside linebacker, and that was Clay Nash on the tackle.
I was watching that closely. I had the binoculars on Spencer the whole time, and I didn't catch the number of the flying flying Cave Spring player who stopped Spencer from throwing that pass, but he just basically, I saw him launch and get himself 3 or 4 feet off the air to keep Spencer from throwing that pass.
2nd and 11 now for the Bruins at the Cave Spring 30. Here's a play-action pass. Gresh on the keeper, crosses the 30 down to the 25 and knocked out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. And he's going to pick up about 8 on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and short now for the Bruins.
He had backside pressure coming off that, had to force him out of the pocket, and Joey Phillips is the one who took off that backside pressure so Gresh could get away.
You know, he makes a great play-action type pass, makes a great fake to the running back, and you got to respect that. You got to respect Latrell Keys.
Yeah, you never know where the ball's going to go with Greg and Latrell and Trey all playing for a long time together.
3rd and 3 now for the Bruins at the K-Spring 22-yard line. Wide left goes Reynolds, wide right comes Keys. The ball sitting on the right hash, moving from left to right here in Bill Brown Stadium. Trey Gresh, the quarterback, on the play-action pass, rolls out to the left side, looking for a receiver now, tucks it up and runs it, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds at about the 19-yard line, very close to the first down. We'll see where the spot is, and I believe they're going to give him the first. Let's see.
Yeah, he was very close, stretching out to try and get it because he was, right at the sideline, right where the marker is, and the officials are trotting over to take a look.
So where I'm seeing this now, the ball is sitting right there at the marker. So anyway, it's either 4th and short or it's going to be a 1st and 10 at the K-Spring 19-yard line.
And they gave it to him. That was very close. It took them a while to figure out what they were going to do.
So great, Trey Gresh picking up a long 3 yards on that play. So it's 1st and 10 now for the Bruins. 5:55 to go, 6-0, Blacksburg up. Twin receivers to the right. That's Reynolds in the slot and Greg Keys at the wideout. To the left side, it's going to be David Blackwell right to the left. And in the slot's going to be Reese Whitsitt. All right, here we go in the shotgun as Trey Gresh hands off to Latrell Keys.
No, he did not.
Trey Gresh keeps it, goes up the middle. He crosses the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Blacksburg. And we just talked about that. A great fake to Latrell Keys. Gresh kept it, goes right up, smack up the center, and 19 yards and scoots it in for 6.
Yeah, I had the glass in the right place again and was watching Greg Keys the whole time, and it really, you're right, it really looked like he was handing that off, and you fooled everybody on the other side of the ball too. And having the closer view with the binoculars, it just showed that he kept the ball on his hip.
Wow, so nice play by Trey Gresh with 5:50 to go here in the first period. Here's the extra point by Caleb Violette. This time it's a good snap. It goes up and it's going to be good. So let's take this time out with 5:50 to go here in the first. It's Blacksburg 13 and K-Spring nothing. Let's pause for this 60-second timeout and hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Blacksburg Bruin Football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
What have we learned, buddy? We've learned to get Michael's face wet, float on his back, it splashes on his face. I would recommend this class for other people because Michael really enjoys it, and it's really taught him a lot about getting into the water and feeling very comfortable in the water.
The Water Babies class is one of many classes that the Blacksburg Parks and Rec Department has to offer for you and your child. Call 961-1135 or visit www.blacksburg.gov/recreation.
Do you know that stroke targets by color? Odds are, if you're African American, you're twice as likely to suffer a stroke as white Americans. Know where you stand, because beating the odds isn't about winning, it's about living. Join the power to end stroke at strokeassociation.org.
All right, here's the kickoff. It's deep back at the 1-yard line, and that's going to be number 20, Adam Dyer, moves the ball across the 20 to the 30, moves the ball down to the 40-yard line while he's finally knocked out of bounds there. So K-Spring will take it 1st and 10, and once again they had Adam back at about the 20-yard line, but got to wrap him up, and now K-Spring has it 1st and 10 at their 40.
A little bit of busted coverage too after the return man ran into his own player, ran into Devin Kane. Bounced off him and created some confusion for Blacksburg so that the return guy could get out to their left side and get a few more yards, another 10, 15 yards out of it.
So as we said before, other scores from around the area, Hidden Valley leading Pulaski 6-0 in the first period. Here we go, K-Spring on the 1st down at their own 40. Here's the tall sweep, goes to the far side of the field. That's going to be Cavanis, and he's brought down right about the line of scrimmage, and Robert Sterrett makes the big tackle, and we'll call it no gain, 2nd down and 10.
Right at the 40, and Sterrett is one of those guys that Coach Chris talks very highly about. He kind of calls him the quarterback of the defense, calling all the plays and making sure a lot of people are in the right position and stepping up even more now that Tyler Holmes isn't doing that on the front half.
Clock is moving, 5:15 to go here in the first period. Blacksburg up 13-0. K-Spring on a 2nd and long. Wide receiver to the left side is Zach Osborne. And here in motion from right to left comes Dyer. Here's a toss sweep, comes to Dyer to the near side. He gets a lot of pressure, knocked down back behind the line of scrimmage, and that was Spencer Link on the tackle. Back at the 38-yard line. It brings up now a 4th down, and it will call it about 12 for K-Spring, and once again they'll punt it away.
It should be third down.
It's third down. I'm sorry, it's third down.
It should be third.
So they're going to call it 3rd down and 12. And once again, Blacksburg putting pressure from both sides of the line. And they're in their 4-4 set, and in the shotgun is Downing standing back at his own 33. Here's the snap. He gets a lot of pressure again. A screen pass to the right side goes to Dyer, and he's hit right at the line of scrimmage, knocked down there by Robert Starrett once again. So we'll say it's about 1 yard on the carry. Now it's 4th down, and K-Spring will punt it away.
You know, we talked in the in the pregame about the number of first downs for Cave Spring and averaging about 7 a game. I don't think they even have 7 yards yet in this game. Right now,
minus 12,
which is less than 7.
You went to Michigan State, didn't you?
They're going the wrong way.
All right, here we go. Standing back at his own 25 is the punter, and that is Jay Barrett. There's the kick, almost blocked, but he gets it off, end over end kick, and it's going to hit about the Blacksburg 25. Greg Keys picks it up at his 15, crosses the 20, at the 30, and knocked down about the 32-yard line. So it's going to be 1st and 10 now for the Bruins, and great contact there. Not talking about great contact. That was one heck of a hit between Brady Stovall and Bracken Brocken of Blacksburg.
Yeah, that was one. I don't know if you heard the crowd, but that was the ooh from the crowd was that hit, and not the return, man. But that was Brandon Bracken making a block to get Greg a few more yards on that return.
So the Bruins now will have it 1st and 10 once again here in this first quarter. 3:38 to go. Blacksburg up 13-0, and that last drive for Blacksburg, 4 plays, 29 yards, and Trey Grish scampers in from 19 yards out. So it's 1st and 10 now. Tight end to the left. Now 2 receivers to the right. Greg Keys now in motion from right to left. Here's Trey Grish, the quarterback in I formation. Hands off to Latrell Keys, and he goes over left tackle, and
I think you got a fumble.
And there's a fumble. He dropped the football right about the 31. Blacksburg recovered it. You know, Latrell just kept running.
Yeah, it didn't look quite like they were on the same page.
Yeah, it looked like a very good handoff. So 2nd down and 10 now for Blacksburg. Substitutions, Blackwell in there. Also Woodell's coming into the lineup along with number 26, and that's Josh Reynolds. Out comes Eric Huff. So Trey Grish, the junior quarterback, sends his offense to the line of scrimmage. 2 receivers to the right and 2 receivers to the left in that spread that Blacksburg likes to run. And in the shotgun now is Trey Grish standing back at his 17. Once again, there's a keeper by Trey Grish over the 20 to the 30 to the 40. Escapes across the 45 down to the 47-yard line, and finally brought down there by the free safety.
Devin Kane, I think.
And that's Kevin Reeder, I believe, on the tackle.
What number did you have?
Number 3.
Okay, I had 43, and that explains why I had it wrong.
There you go. You need my glasses.
Yeah, I probably do.
Okay, so it's 1st and 10, and Trey Grish once again. There's that fake. They're respecting Latrell Keys so much in this ballgame, they're forgetting about Trey.
Yeah, and that was the same play they ran, that Trey ran for the touchdown a few minutes ago. Just got him a few more yards there.
Here we go into spread offense. Receivers to the right and the left, and Keys is the lone running back. Here's Trey Grish, the quarterback in the shotgun. Takes a snap. Goes right down the middle. Has Greg Keys wide open, and he drops the football. But I'm going to tell you what, to me, that was interference.
I'm waiting for the flag. There's no flag.
It was a perfect pass in perfect stride, and the defensive back for K-Spring grabbed his arm.
The defensive back grabbed Greg Keys' arm. There is absolutely no doubt about that.
So the official missed that one.
If you're watching on WTOB, or on, wind it back a little bit, watch that. You'll see he grabbed his arm.
And that was a perfect pass, perfect stride, and the only thing the DB could do was just grab him, stop him from catching it, and he did.
And you got to wonder where the flag was on that one. So maybe it's keeping the official's pocket warm for some reason. I'm not sure.
Well, it's cold out here tonight.
That's right. That was my point.
2nd and 10. Here's Trey Grish once again on the quarterback keeper. Goes up the middle, crosses the 50, down to the 45, hits a run room to the 40, to the 35, and knocked down at the 33-yard line. And once again, there we go. Trey Grish on the quarterback keeper, his 3rd one of this football game, picking up big yardage.
Yeah, about 18 there by my estimate. And Kevin Reeder, number 3, again on the stop.
So with 2:17 to go in the first period, Blacksburg up 13-0 and threatening again here. And this seems to be the kind of the way Blacksburg unfolds in the game, Harley, especially in the first quarter and a half. They just start out big.
Absolutely. That's Blacksburg's getting their most points in the first and second quarter. First half, that's going to be the Bruins half, and then they let up a little bit or something in the second half. Figure they got it done, or I don't know, but they don't score as much in the second half.
Trey Gresh, the 6'1", 200-pound junior, throws it down the middle again. He has a Woodell to wide out, and it's going to fall incomplete, and that was kind of like a wounded duck up there.
Yeah, and a little overthrown, too. That could have been anybody's ball, so there was no pass interference on that, even though they did collide.
Good coverage by Reeder on that play of Cave Spring, so it brings up 2nd and 10 now for the Bruins.
And that's kind of the way Trey Gresh is sometimes. Sometimes he's spot on. The pass to Greg Keys with the pass interference that wasn't called was spot on. It was right in stride. And this one, as you said, looked kind of like it had been shot in flight and fluttered down, a little bit overthrown as well.
It's homecoming tonight here at Blacksburg High School. And so we're going to have about 5-minute longer halftime show, as all homecoming shows do. On a 2nd and 10, the handoff goes to Keys, and he booms his way across the 30, runs over the defensive tackle from Cave Spring. He ran over Evan Sexton, who's 6'1", 215. Boy, that was I guess the meeting of the helmets at that point.
Yeah, he also ran over, looked at me like Dustin Price for Blacksburg, and they just kind of collided. Dustin wasn't there, then suddenly Dustin was there, and then Latrell Keys just was just a collision.
Instead of cleat marks up the back, that's going to be like a big face mask right up your back there. Wow.
Yeah, that's going to leave a tattoo.
All right, so it's 3rd down and 6 now for Blacksburg.
Honey, where did you get that bruise? It looks like a face mask. Mom, I'm sorry, it was football.
All right, twin receivers to the right. The ball sitting on the right hash, and Greg Keys now in motion from right to left out of the slot. Now they're showing 2 running backs, and here's the handoff goes to Latrell Keys. No, it's a keeper once again by Trey Gresh, and he picks up a couple of more on the play, so it's 4th down, and they're going maybe too deep to the well now.
And that was, I was watching Latrell Keys. I thought he got the handoff on that one. The way he hit that hole and was running up there and then stopped, and I was wait a second, I thought he had the ball.
Yeah, nice play action, nice fakes inside by Blacksburg. And here's Caleb Violette now coming out to attempt a 44-yard field goal, well within his distance. He hit a 47-yarder last week and had room to spare.
Yeah, Violette is 10 of 13 this year, about 77%. And nothing inside the 20. He's not even made an attempt inside the 20.
One of the best in the state, one of the best in the region, and one of the best in the country. Here's the kick. It's high enough. It's going to be long enough. It's going to be good. It goes right through. So Caleb Violette hits a 44-yarder with 9 seconds to go here in the first period. So let's take this timeout with the score. Blacksburg 16 and Cave Spring nothing. Let's pause for the 60-second timeout and hear these words from our sponsors. You are listening to Blacksburg Bruin Football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
These hands hold tight. These hands love. These hands support. These hands create. These hands save lives. To empower your hands to help make a difference, call the American Heart Association at 877-242-4277 for a CPR class near you. These hands are wise.
Back at Bill Brown Stadium, Blacksburg up 16-0. 9 seconds here in the first period. There's a kickoff by Violette, and that's going to sail down to the goal line, in and out of Adam Dyer's hands. So it's going to be 1st and 10 now for Cave Spring. And, Harley, we talk about the temperature. It's going to be down in the 40s tonight before this game's over with. And I just wonder if that's affected Caleb's kicking a little bit. Obviously not his field goal kicking, but punting maybe.
Yeah, you know, that one had a good bit of fire on it. Was what I was going, where I was going is that was didn't quite have the height, but had a good bit of fire to it, and I think that's one of the reasons. It certainly had the distance that he's used to, but one of the reasons that Dyer probably couldn't handle it, that and the temperature. Dyer's hands have got to be a little cold, and the ball's going to be cold.
Slight breeze moving from northwest to southeast here at Bill Brown Stadium. 1st and 10 now for Cave Spring. They have receivers to the right and the left. In motion goes Cavanis from left to right. Quarterback Daniel Downing back in the pocket on the quarterback keeper. Goes up the middle. He's stacked behind the line of scrimmage. And on the tackle is Daniel Overstreet, the defensive tackle. Also Nathan Hopkins from his middle linebacker spot. And so a great play from the Bruins there. It brings up 2nd down and 11.
On the end of the first quarter.
So the score is Blacksburg 16 and Cave Spring nothing. Let's pause once again for the 60-second timeout. You're listening to Blacksburg High School football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Honey, would you get me some ice cream?
Ice cream?
Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Some things you just can't do without. It happens every night, all across America.
Back at Bill Brown Stadium, and the score 16-0 here at the beginning of the second period. Cave Spring with the football moving from left to right. And the ball sitting at their own 18-yard line. So under quarterback is Daniel Downing. Takes the snap from center, throws the ball on a slant pattern, has a receiver open, and that's going to be number 21 on the reception. That was Zach Osborne. He picks up about 11 yards on the carry, so their first down of the game for the Knights.
Yeah, I didn't think that quite made it for the first down, but they are moving this chains. Looked to be a little bit short.
So Downing just popped up from the quarterback spot and just threw it on a slant pattern, and so Cave Spring finally finds a little bit of a hole here in the Blacksburg Bruin defense. 11:47 to go here in the second period. Blacksburg up 16-0. We'll get some other scores for you from around the New River Valley, some big games, including Salem and Christiansburg. Here we go on a 1st and 10. Once again, they throw it out to the far side to Osborne. He catches the football, but he's brought down right about the 33-yard line, so he picks up about 3 on the play, so we'll call it 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, it was Josh Reynolds took on not only his blocker, and the receiver tried to cut around that block, and Josh Reynolds ran right through his blocker to make the tackle and force everybody out of bounds. Also, Downing, he just stood up right when he got the ball and threw it. He didn't drop back. It was just an immediate pass.
That's the way you take the pressure off that defensive line and help your offensive linemen. In motion now from left to right is Cavanis, and inside reverse goes to Dyer, and he runs the ball down to the 35-yard line where he's tackled by Spencer Leak from his cornerback spot. So it brings up a 3rd down and 5 now for Cave Spring. You know, Blacksburg really isn't fooled by a lot of that inside and outside reverses. They're not fooled by those fakes.
No, they're very well schooled on what to look for, which is not the ball. You're not watching that. You want to watch where where the keys are going, where the other players are going for the other team, see where their blocks are setting up, and that tells you where the ball is going to go, where the run is going to go.
16-0 Bruins up. And here's the wide receivers to the right and the left for Cave Spring. Here's the quarterback Downing on the slant pattern, almost intercepted by Greg Keys at the 38, and the intended receiver Kevin Reeder just kept running that slant pattern, and the quarterback Downing threw it behind him, and it landed right in Greg Keys' hands.
It looked like it was tipped on the line just enough to slow it down, and I think it surprised Greg Keys. Suddenly he's got the ball in his hands, and he wasn't sure whether it was what he was supposed to do with it at that point.
So Jay Barrett standing back at his 20, getting ready to punt it away to Greg Keys standing on his own 26. 10:19 to go here in the second period. In motion from left to right comes Cavanis. There's the snap. Here's the kick, and it's blocked by
Walter Gachana.
Gachana, picked up by Phillips, and he goes in for a touchdown. So Gachana comes in, blocks the kick. Joey Phillips picks it up, gets 6 more for the Bruins. And with 10-12 to go here in the second period, Blacksburg goes up 22-0.
Hold on. We got a flag.
Now there's a flag back at the line of scrimmage.
But it's against Cave Spring.
So in other words, it was illegal procedure or legal set. So 6 points are going to be good now for the Bruins. So Caleb Violet will come in for the extra point. And Gachana came in just from that right side, and nobody blocked.
We talked about speed, and that's what I'm thinking that's Walter's second block of the year. I think he had one last week, and blocked it, and then looking up in the air to find out where it went, lands in. Was that Phillips' hands?
In Phillips, yep. So here's Caleb Violet for the extra point for the Bruins. And here's the snap. It's down, and the kick is up, and it's going to be good. So with 10-12 to go here in the second period, the score, Blacksburg 22 or 23, and Cave Spring nothing. Let's pause for this 60-second timeout. And let's hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Blacksburg Bruin Football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Second team, respond to male subject, difficulty breathing, chest pain.
Your neighbors helped save a life last night. Be a volunteer. You can help save a life. You provide the time, we'll provide the training. To learn more, call the Blacksburg Rescue Squad at 961-1189.
What do I call it a funny bone?
Why can't penguins fly?
HSC safety. Can we go to the moon on vacation?
If you think it's tough answering these questions, imagine the ones you'll get if your child is diagnosed with cancer. CureSearch.org can help. It's run by doctors and scientists whose research has led to an overall cure rate of 78%. You're not as alone as you feel.
All right, thanks, Tom. So a big game in the River Ridge. Pulaski County up 14-6 over Hidden Valley. And this is a huge year now for Jack Turner. Been a lot of pressure on this coach who had two losing seasons in a row. And man, I got to tell you what, the Cougars are not used to that. So he's got this team going.
No, there was a lot of pressure on him. You're right. 21-20 was Turner's record coming into this year.
All right, here's the kickoff. Comes to Dyer at the goal line. Crosses the 10, slips down right about the 14 where he's going to be spotted right there, and the flags go down. And honestly, I didn't see what happened there. But
that's the first actual flag I've seen on the field. I've seen other penalty calls, but that's the first time I've actually seen a flag hit the field.
And it's going to be a personal foul against Blacksburg. I think Joey Phillips may have hit him after he went down, so I think that was the call. But it's a bright flag, too. Yeah, it's a huge flag.
It's brand new. I think they just opened the package.
Good gracious. Okay.
Maybe it's it's kind of a golden thing. It's probably in honor of homecoming, I think.
Next week, another big game for the Bruins in the River Ridge District. Salem High School right here at Bill Brown Stadium. And you can catch the game right here on Super Talk 101.7 FM. 7 o'clock airtime, 7:30 is going to be the kickoff.
It's going to be a big one.
So Cave Spring now trailing 23-0 here in the second period. Quarterback is Downing. In motion now from left to right comes Cavanis. And off goes to the big fullback up the middle, but the whistles blow before the snap was taken. Then Darrell Keating would have had about 5 or 6 yards on the carry, but this is going to go against Cave Spring, I believe.
Yeah, you mentioned we'll have that game next week. With this game and every home game, you can also catch those on WTOB, the Town of Blacksburg cable channel. They rerun those, I think, Mondays and Wednesdays, and you can also catch them online. Go to the Montgomery County page, click on Channel 2 WTOB, and you can watch them stream online. I think they're available again on Mondays.
So whatever the play was, I think it was declined, the penalty, so it brings up, well, it's a 1st and 10. I think they put the flag up. They just picked it up. And like I said before, I think Phillips hit him, and they thought that he was down, and then Phillips hit him, and they called the late hit, but obviously it wasn't. So here we go, 1st and 10 now for Cave Spring, left to right in motion, and the snap goes to Tyler Cavanis. A little bit of trickery, maybe a little bit of single wing innovation there, but another flag down.
Yeah, another flag against Cave Spring right before the ball was snapped.
5-yard penalty. So 5 yards for illegal procedure, backing up back to the 24, so it's a 1st and 15 now for Cave Spring.
You know, and Cave Spring just starting to get something going offensively, had moved the ball a little bit, and now a couple of penalties, a couple of mental mistakes are, again, moving them backwards the wrong direction.
So twin receivers to the left for Cave Spring and 2 receivers to the right. In the spread offense, just like the Bruins, the quarterback now is Daniel Downing. Takes a snap from center, rolls out to the near side, throws it to his slot man, and that was Devin Kane at about the 21-yard line. So really there was no yardage on that carry, so it brings up now a 2nd down and long now for Cave Spring. An update on the Christiansburg score: Salem 14 and Christiansburg nothing in the 2nd quarter.
My.
So we'll keep you up to date on that as well. All right, 2nd and long now for Cave Spring at their own 21. 9:35 to go here in the 2nd period. Blacksburg up 23-0. Twin receivers to the right and left. Downing, the quarterback, in motion from left to right. And that goes Dyer. Here's the quarterback. Downing carries the football across the 25 back to the 30. Very close to the original line of scrimmage, so it's going to be 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, he threw his shoulder forward to fake the pass, threw a couple of the Bruins off guard, started looking for the ball, and then took off up the field. Greg Keys fought off his blocker to make that tackle.
What's interesting is they're running this offense now with the slot man going in motion. He's sprinting from one side of the line to the other and waiting for that snap as they did the play before. So
yeah, you're going to watch that snap go to the crossing route at least once.
Down in the quarterback under center on 3rd and long. The ball sitting on the right hash, and he's going to be sacked back behind the line of scrimmage, and the Blacksburg defensive line was there to make the play. And at the bottom of the pile, Bo Gentry from his defensive tackle spot, and also Joey Phillips from his outside linebacker position make the play, and it's 4th down, and Cave Spring will punt it away.
Here's another one where Cave Spring just didn't take a long quarterback drop, half a step, was about to trying to throw the ball, and Bo Gentry submarines underneath the line and makes the tackle for a loss.
Greg Keys standing back at his own 30, and once again out to punt is Jay Barrett, standing at his own 15. Blacksburg with 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Let's see if they go after him. There's the snap, and I think that's going to be an offsides against Blacksburg. And just a little bit quick from his outside spot was Spencer Link, but let's see what they do. It's still going to be 4th down either way.
It's Walter, you got one. Let me see if I can get one.
Yep, and Spencer raises his hand and said, it was me, it was me. So push it up 5 more yards, so now it's 4th down and 5. So Greg Keys now backs up about 5 more yards as he scoots his way back to the 25-yard line. And here we go again, standing at his own 20 is Barrett, waiting for the snap. There's the snap, and here's the kick. Some good pressure, almost blocked again, but it gets the kick off, and it's going to hit right about the 35, picked up by Keys, crosses the 40, has some running room to the near side at the 50, down to the 40, down to the 30, down to the 20, to the 15, to the 10-5, touchdown Blacksburg. Greg Keys on a big punt return of 67 yards, but there's a flag down back at the 34-yard line.
You know, I didn't see the flag. I saw the special teams play of Walter Gachana again. You know, we've got to pick a player of the game, and right now he's top of my list because he came and picked off a couple of the Cave Spring Knights to make the room for Greg Keys, who, you know, wasn't even going to field the ball. Once he did, Walter Gachana knocked off a couple of the Knights to give a lane up the sideline for Greg Keys.
I was watching the kick, and I was watching that pressure, and I just wonder if Greg had raised his hand. And if he did at any point, even if you raise your hand just slightly, that is a fair catch call. And I'm just wondering if he picked it up and that's where the penalty came from, because there was no other Blacksburg player down there or a Cave Spring player. So let's see what the call is. Either way, Blacksburg will get the ball.
And it doesn't
unless it is a touchdown for Blacksburg.
Yeah, it doesn't diminish the play of Walter. I mean, he flew in there and picked off a couple to make that lane down the sideline.
You know, Jay Barrett, the punter for Cave Spring, he must hate to come out there every 4th down and sit back there and just watch this pressure come, because Blacksburg putting it on him.
Well, then there's the competitiveness too. Sometimes I think he's, you know, I'm going to get this kick off. The heck with you.
Okay, it's a 5-yard penalty against Blacksburg. It's going to be 1st and 10 now for Cave Spring at their own 40-yard line. And, you know, the flag came down back at the 34-yard line after the punt.
Right.
So we did not get an official call down here. We'll find out what it is. But anyway, Cave Spring has it 1st and 10 at their own 40.
Unless the official was so far back, that's as far as his arm would get the flag with what he saw on the line. Although the officials are now conferencing at about the 39-yard line of Cave Springs.
See, I'm just sitting here thinking about illegal substitution. And that may have been the case. They had 12 men on the field. They didn't get enough one man off the sideline. And I think that's the official exactly. So let's see. And Dave Chris talking to the official along with Vaughn Phipps. And they're still meeting out there. You know, once again, if that's the case, then obviously the ball would be back to Cave Spring. But otherwise, it would be a change of possession. And that's what they're ruling. So here we go. 1st and 10 now for Cave Spring at their own 40. 7:44 to go here in the second period. Blacksburg up 23-0, and the Bruins want to take a timeout to settle his team down. No question about that. We'll take this break as well. Let's pause for this 30-second timeout. You're listening to Blacksburg High School Bruin football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
If you don't clean up your room, the Board of Health is going to condemn it. You make that face again, it's going to freeze that way. If you don't get your blood pressure checked, you could have high blood pressure and not know it and die from a stroke.
Back at Bill Brown Stadium, it's going to be 1st and 10 now for Cave Spring. Cave Spring now 11 total yards in this ball game.
Well, at least now they're going the right way.
Yeah,
because they had a lot to overcome. They were at one point at least down, 12 in the hole.
So wide receiver now to the right is going to be Kevin Reeder, and wide to the left is Zach Osborne. So it's going to be 1st and 10 under center is Daniel Downing. Quarterback in the Cave Spring Knights trailing 23-0. They are in motion now from right to left goes Dyer. Here's the handoff to the big fullback up the middle. And on the carry was Brady Stovall, 6'2", 230-pounder. And he picks up about 4 yards on the carry, 2nd down and 6. And once again, you get a big guy in a fullback, and all you need is one block, and he's going to get you 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what happened there. And we were talking about the penalties, and Cave Spring had taken a couple of penalties, their mental errors to knock them back. And now Blacksburg takes one to give the ball back to Cave Spring. Cave Spring averaging about 4 penalties per game, and Blacksburg averaging... I'll get this after this play.
Okay, Osborne wide to the left and Reeder wide to the right. Here's Daniel Downing, the quarterback in motion from right to left goes Dyer. Toss sweep goes to Dyer. He's going to be sacked back behind the line of scrimmage, and Latrell Keys from his linebacker spot makes the big play, knocks him back to the 35, and that's a loss of about 8 yards on the play. It's going to be a 3rd down and long.
Latrell Keys straight through, only encountered one blocker who had no shot. And Latrell Keys just made a sandwich out of that guy, wrapped his arms around his blocker, and took the ball carrier down. Back to the penalties, Blacksburg is averaging about 4.5 per game, and Cave Spring is about 4.25, so they're about even.
So 3rd down for the Knights, trailing 23-0. They are 6:29 to go, and the clock moving. Here's the handoff on the fake, goes to the fullback, and a fumble by Darrell Keeling, and it wasn't a good handoff. It was almost like the old Statue of Liberty where the quarterback stood up and made the motion of throwing the football, but he actually had the ball down in his left hand and tried to hand it to Keeling, the fullback, but there wasn't a good exchange, so it brings up 4th down, and the Knights will punt of the game once again.
Yeah, the play well designed, only for a little bit of deception because you had the receiver on the outside jumping up like he was trying to field the ball.
So Barrett
didn't fool the lineman, however.
Absolutely. Barrett standing back at his 22. Here's the snap. Here's the kick. Great rush. And it's blocked again. Picked up by Gachana. No. The ball still on the ground. Picked up by Adam Dyer. He has some running room out to the outside, and Gachana chases him down at about the 17-yard line. So Blacksburg will have it 1st and 10. Once again, the whole interior of the Blacksburg line came in and responsible for that one.
There was just a mad rush of blue and gold flying through the white and black of Cave Springs. Poor punter didn't have a chance, kicked it right into the Blacksburg Bruins, who unfortunately couldn't get the handle on the ball. Will still get the ball now in good field position. And as you said, flying through again, number 17, Walter Gachana, who's playing his game tonight.
Wow, so 5:43 to go in the second period. Bruins up 23-0 and threatening again.
You know, this is only I'm not even sure if he was a starter for this game. He started last week, and that was his first start of the year.
All right, here we go. And Blacksburg goes into this real strange set where they had Gresh wide left. They had Latrell Keys at wide out. Now they're back into the I formation, and the handoff goes to Latrell over right tackle, and he scoots across the 17 to the 16 and falls forward to the 14-yard line, picking up right around 4 yards on the carry. 2nd down and 6 now for the Bruins. And once again, Latrell getting hit initially in the line of scrimmage and staying on his feet.
It wasn't a clean escape from the backfield. There was a little bit of extra motion in the back. Another Blacksburg player to get out of the way as he picked up an oncoming rusher. Somebody got through the Blacksburg line. One of the Cave Spring defenders got through and put a little heat on. The up tail for Blacksburg had to pick that up, and that caused a little bit of motion, a little bit of a confusion in the Blacksburg backfield.
So the Bruins want to take a timeout and think about this one on 2nd and 6. 5:07 to go here in the second period. Blacksburg up 23-0 over Cave Spring. Let's take this timeout as well. We'll take this 30-second timeout and hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Blacksburg Bruin Football on 101.7 FM.
Whether it's arts and culture, community events, great places to eat and shop, exciting athletics. You'll find it all in Blacksburg, the place to be.
Back at Bill Brown Stadium, 23-0. Blacksburg up over the Cave Spring Knights. And Blacksburg 4-1 on the season, and it's the first game of the River Ridge District season for them, and a very important game. Other scores from around the area: Salem leading Christiansburg 14-0 in the second period, and Pulaski County up on Hidden Valley 14-6. All right, here we go. 2nd and 6 now for the Bruins. In motion from right to left comes Keys. Quarterback is Trey Gresh in the I formation, and back in the pocket, spots his receiver, throws it to the left side, and the end has Greg Keys open. It's going to be incomplete, and I'm going to tell you what, I thought Greg had it there for momentarily.
He made the catch. He didn't make the catch inbounds. And the problem with the ball was a little overthrown, but it wasn't thrown to a particular shoulder, and Keys was trying to make the adjustment, looking over each shoulder back and forth, so he couldn't watch the ball all the way into his hands as well.
Harley, I can't imagine trying to look over my right shoulder and left shoulder at the same time, and you're still going forward and trying to look back. It's very difficult.
The only thing I can think of, because I've thought about that, is you're running down the field looking up. The only thing I can think of is that you know most of the field's open in front of you. You're really not going to hit anything. And you've got to have that bit of confidence, because otherwise it's like running through a parking lot and there's a car.
In the shotgun, I remember those days too. In the shotgun is Trey Gresh. Handoff goes to Latrell. It's going to be a keeper by Gresh as he goes up the middle, and maybe a loss of a yard on the carry, so it's going to bring up 3rd down and long now for the Bruins. It's going to be 4th down now for the Bruins. So Caleb Violette's going to come in and attempt another field goal on the evening. I don't know if that was a miss handoff or that was a planned play, but they've done that fake. They've done that quarterback fake.
Yeah, and I'm not sure whether it was missed or not. 11 of 14 is Violet as of tonight. 78%, including the last field goal he had in this game.
So they're going to spot it right about the 21, so this is a 31-yard field goal for Caleb Violet, the senior. Very highly recruited kid. There's the kick. It's up, and it's going to be good. It'll be good from 50. So with 4:15 to go here in the second period, the score: Blacksburg 26 and Cave Spring nothing. Once again, let's pause for a 60-second timeout and hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Blacksburg Bruin Football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
You can turn the world on with a smile. Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. Love is all around, why don't you take it?
The best way out is by coming in. Going to family learning programs helps you and your family lead better lives. Call 1-877-FAMLIT-1 because making it, after all, shouldn't just happen on TV.
Thanks, Tom. Here at Bill Brown Stadium, it's 26-0. Blacksburg over to Cave Spring Knights here with 4:15 to go in the second period. And Caleb Violet now kicking it off for Blacksburg from left to right. And here's the kick. It's a long kick, end-over-end kick, taken by Dara at the goal line. So he's going to be
another touchback.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 for Cave Spring. And once again, he's just
that's what he's doing. He averages about 50% of his kicks are touchbacks.
It's nice to have a kicker like that, isn't it?
In the last break, we heard a little bit about Patrick Day, and we want to mention a couple of things going on for him. This may be a repeat if you did that. We'll also give you the address if you'd like to send more cards to him and help with the mental encouragement for his break. That's the Kluge Children's Rehabilitation Center. You'd write to Patrick Day, 2270 Ivy Road, Charlottesville, 22903. Again, the Kluge Children's Rehabilitation Center, care of Patrick Day. We finish the address. Well, we can do that. They called timeout. The address is 2270 Ivy Road, Charlottesville, 22903. And while we have this break, talk about a couple of the other things going on for Patrick Day coming up on the 20th, a week from tomorrow. There is VHS Sports Marketing and the St. Paul AME Church are hosting a fundraising event for Patrick Day. That is the 20th, 6 to 9 p.m. at the high school. $5 at the door. Donations are also accepted, and everything is going to the Patrick Day's family. 100% of the proceeds donated to the family. You can get more information online if you like at mcps.org/BHS. If you want to go online and check that out, there's a lot of stuff going on. But again, all the money, all the concessions, and the guest speakers that'll be there, and everybody donating to help Patrick Day and his family, so they can make the trips back and forth to Charlottesville. And he's being raised by his grandmother with a couple of other kids, and it's a tough situation for them. And this fundraiser makes sure all 100% of the proceeds going to Patrick Day's family. Again, that is next Saturday, the 20th, 6 to 9 p.m. at the BHS gym. $5 at the door. T-shirt to be $10.
All right, Cave Spring now on a 1st and 10, and the quarterback down and gets back to the original line of scrimmage where he's stacked up there. And once again, as we always say, Patrick Day, this game is for you. And, of course, Blacksburg with number 20 on the back of the helmet. And so, anyway, Patrick, we know you're going to get better. We know you're going to get back here. And it's just something that's going to take a lot of time.
You know, one of the other, we talked about Patrick Day at the beginning of the season not being with a team in a non-football related injury. And we since, talked about it being a spinal stroke. One of the other players missing at that time was Mike Quinn, and he's back with the team today, and he practiced this week and is expected to get some playing time.
Adam Dyer now picking up maybe a yard on the play for Cave Spring. It's going to be 3rd down and long for the Knights on the inside, once again, the inside reverse. 3:24 to go here in the second period, 26-0 Blacksburg leading this one. Also, you can catch a replay of this game in every Blacksburg High School home game on WTOB Channel 2 on Mondays at 7 p.m. and Wednesdays at 3 p.m. And you can also watch them anytime you want on the web at www.blacksburg.gov. All right, 3rd and long now for the Knights. Here's Daniel Downing, the quarterback, under center. And here's the play-action pass. He's going to be hit back behind the line of scrimmage, and on the initial lick was Nathan Hopkins. And Nathan makes the play, and it's going to bring up 4th down. And once again, Cave Spring hates to see this, but they got to punt it.
Yeah, I'm sure they hate to see this. Nathan Hopkins making the first slowdown. Couldn't quite get him down, and then Eric Howard comes in to clean it up and they'll both get half credit for the sack or for the stopping of the runner. And and Cave Springs now calls timeout because I'm sure they're talking about protection for their punter.
Once again, our game next week is a huge game. Tonight, Salem right now leading Christiansburg 14-0, but the Bruins will face Salem right here at Bill Brown Stadium. 7 o'clock is going to be the airtime. 7:30 is going to be the kickoff here on Super Talk 101.7 FM. But, once again, this district, you cannot go from night to night. You cannot look past any game to the next week.
No, you can't. I'm sure the PA announcer announced the score right after we gave it to you of the Salem Christiansburg game, and there was kind of a mixed reaction from the crowd. I wasn't sure what they were going to do. There wasn't really all that much of a reaction because they know that they need to be focused on this game tonight to help cheer on the Bruins to make sure that they start off 1-0 in this new series.
Standing back at his goal line is Barrett once again. In fact, he's about a yard deep in the end zone. Greg Key standing back at his own 47. There's the snap. It's almost a high kick, but here it is. It's going to be a short kick and a fair catch by Keys at the 39.
Penalty flag down as well.
Barrett got that one away, but there's a flag down at the line of scrimmage, and I would not be surprised if we're offsides.
It's motion against Cave Spring.
Here you go. And you know what I would do? I would take the penalty and go back and make him punt it again. Because now he's going to be 5 or 6 yards deep in the end zone.
I would agree with you. That's what you're going to want to do.
So they're calling the captains out for Blacksburg to see what they want to do on this. And yes, I think they're going to make him punt it again. Yeah, so Greg Keys is going back out to the midfield stripe. 2:33 to go here in the second period. 26-0 Blacksburg up.
The odds are in your favor. You'll improve your field position.
So let's see if he puts 10 men on the line of scrimmage. You know, at this point, you're almost just sitting there thinking, okay, they've blocked half my punts already. How about if I just run a fake here? You got to be prepared for that, especially if you got 10 men coming.
I would agree with you. You have to be ready for that. 10 men on the line for Blacksburg. Only Greg Keys back to return the punt. And, you got to watch for the fake, but I'm just not thinking that's something that's going to happen. I think they're more worried about punt protection.
Barrett standing back inside. That's 7 yards deep. Here's the kick, and it's partially blocked. And the ball's going to hit about the 25 and roll down to right around the 44-yard line where Blacksburg will have it 1st and 10. And once again, Blacksburg brought the pressure and got a partial block on that.
Yeah, and it's a good thing because they also ran into the kicker. But with the partial block, there is no penalty because you did get a piece of the ball.
So now Blacksburg will have it 1st and 10 at the 44. 2:20 to go here in the second period, up 26-0.
And so that re-kick, crack stats man Steve is telling me that Blacksburg did lose 5 yards on that exchange.
Wow. So now Trey Gresh comes out, and I think Trey is thinking about throwing it deep this time. Maybe just to put this game away. But like I said before, Blacksburg, this is when they played their best footballs in the first 2 periods of the football game.
Yes, sir.
Gresh, the quarterback, in the shotgun. Back at the 50-yard line. Looks at a receiver, has a receiver open, and he has number 80. Reese Whits it, and it's taken out of his hands as a fumble picked up by number 3. And that was Kevin Reeder by Cave Spring, and he runs the ball back to the 29-yard line. So anyway, a nice tossing catch to Reese Whitsitt, the big 6'3" kid, and he dropped the football. And
it looked to me like he dropped the football when the football hit the ground.
Yeah.
You know, and it just popped out of his hands. The officials gave the fumble to Cave Spring, and Cave Spring now has the ball back.
So 1st and 10 now for the Knights. They got 2:05 to go here. And not that that's a real momentum changer, but that's where you got an offense that wants to put more points on the board. So
yeah, I think they're a little disappointed they didn't do that. But okay, we'll play another 3 downs.
All right, Downing, the quarterback under center now for Cave Spring at their 28. And here's the handoff to Dyer. On the inside reverse once again, crosses the 30, moves the ball down to the 34 where he's brought down by Starrett. So it brings up a 2nd and 5.
And that was a good positive run for Cave Spring. They get the 5 yards out of that. That's one of their best runs of the evening.
So 6 total yards on offense now for Cave Spring so far in this first half. 1:40 to go, and the clock is moving. And here come the Knights to the line of scrimmage. Blacksburg showing a 5-man front in that 5-3. Here's the quarterback once again, Downing, handing off to Dyer over left tackle, and he's going to be hit right about the line of scrimmage, and he scoots forward, slips out of the hands of Adam Siegel, and gets the ball down to the 40, and he picks up a first.
Yeah, I thought they had him stopped a little bit, but he squirted through that, a couple of missed tackles, and that's got to be disappointing for Blacksburg. And I'm going to have to take partial credit because I said, 3. We'll play 3 more, but they did get the first down out of it.
So that's their 3rd first down of this half for the Knights. Blacksburg playing a great defensive game this evening. Here's the 2 wingbacks and the single setback, and the quarterback Downing under center. Handoff comes to Dyer. He goes over right tackle, and he's going to be hit right about the 41. And a host of Blacksburg Bruins there, led by Nathan Hopkins. So it brings up a 2nd and 9.
Exactly. You said a host of Bruins, and that's what I've been seeing tonight. For the most part, it's been group tackling. Everybody's been rushing to getting to the ball on defense and making the group tackles. There have been a few solo tackles, but for the most part, it's kind of been a gang mentality for Blacksburg on defense.
So Cave Spring on 2nd and long at their own 41, Downing, the quarterback under center, and there's the inside handoff goes to Dyer. He has a little bit of running room over left tackle, and Spencer Link brings him down about the 49, not after Dyer picks up about 8. Gets very close to the first down, and once again, almost a little bit of a mishandling of the ball in the backfield.
Yeah, and Spencer Link's the one that saved that because he could have broken that for a touchdown if Link hadn't held on.
So Cave Spring calls a timeout. Tomorrow, you can catch Virginia Tech football as they take on Duke University down at Durham. And you can hear all the action on 105.3 The Bear, our sister station. Bill Roth, Mike Burnham on the Virginia Tech ISP Sports Network. Airtime is going to be 10:30, and I think our tailgate show starts at 9. So
yeah, it does. I will be running by there probably.
So anyway, Virginia Tech looking for victory number 5, and this team, once again, I'm not sure where they're at, but defensively without Hall, we're going to have to see how they're going to do. With Tyrod Taylor still learning the offense, we'll have to see the offense does. But this is a game where when you're playing Duke, you can't look past Duke, but it's a game where you can try a few more different things, I think.
Well, like Blacksburg tonight, it's Duke's homecoming. A lot of people a little upset that Virginia Tech is scheduled as a homecoming game. You schedule the games when you schedule the games, and you work out a homecoming when you can. I think, if I recall, the Hokies are favored by, I think it was 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's probably about right. All right, 3rd and short now for Cave Spring, and the ball sending right past their 49. 21 seconds to go here till halftime. In motion from left to right comes Cavanis. Here's the snap. Here's the pass. Goes over to the big tight end. And it is complete down to the Blacksburg 41-yard line.
And another timeout.
On the reception was Devin Kane. So now Cave Spring getting it up to the line of scrimmage as quick as possible.
Yeah, they've got some positive motion, so they're trying to make sure they get it in before half.
Their 4th first down of this first half for the Knights. And here we go. The quarterback is Downing, and he spikes it, so that brings up a 2nd and 10. And that took 3 seconds off the clock, so 14 seconds to go. Once again, another big game for the Bruins next Friday night right here against Salem High School. Once again, the airtime is going to be 7 o'clock, kickoff 7:30. And if Salem is any kind of team like we think they are, they're leading Christiansburg at our last update 14-0. But don't ever count Christiansburg out. I remember here just a couple of years ago when Christiansburg was down by 3 or 4 touchdowns at halftime, it came out and beat Salem. So you never know what's going to happen in that game. Here's Downing, the quarterback, back in the pocket. Spots his receiver, throws it to the near side, incomplete, looking for Dyer down at the 30. Good coverage by Robert Sterrett on the play, so it brings up 3rd and long with 9 seconds to go.
He's in the shotgun. The snap was a little high. He had to go up and get that, delayed the timing a little bit, but then Downing overthrew his receiver a bit as well.
So now Cave Spring getting a little bit more, I guess, protection up front, but Blacksburg, who's been stunning their linebackers all night long and bringing pressure and just creating havoc in the backfield, hasn't done that here in the last couple of series.
Well, I think right now they're going to have to throw because of the time on the clock, so you don't have to rush as much.
All right, 3rd down, receivers to the right and left. Shotgun is Downing back in the pocket. Throws it deep down the left side, and it's going to be incomplete. Good coverage. Great coverage, in fact, by Josh Reynolds, and Nash was the intended receiver, so it's 4th down and 10 with 4 seconds to go.
Yeah, part of the beauty of Josh's coverage there is he didn't run full out to try and get the ball. He slowed down a little bit, and the receiver was behind him. The ball overthrown, so the receiver had no chance to actually get to the ball.
So now on 4th down, once again, you just put it up there, and the young man, Daniel Downing, the 5'11", 170-pound senior, you know he can throw it pretty deep. So 4th down, and here we go in the shotgun. Here's their spread offense, 20 receivers to the left and the right. And Blacksburg showing a stunt. They bring their linebackers, put some pressure. Nathan Hopkins hits Downing. It's intercepted by Brockett at the 40 to the 45 to 50. Has the sideline, hits the running room, crosses the 30 down to the 25, and finally knocked down at the 21-yard line. But that's when they end the half. And Nathan Hopkins once again came from that mid linebacker spot and just knocked the ball out of Daniel Downing's hands. Wow.
Watching the difference of the running ability of Greg Keys and was it Brodkin that picked that one off?
Yes, he did.
And just a whole different style of running. And, the poor kid, he's given it all he's got, but he's the locomotive as opposed to the jet engine of Greg Keys. And, you can't, I'm not one to talk about being a jet engine, certainly with my build. I'm more of a lineman. More of a couple of linemen put together. But the whole thing is, you got to give the kid credit for making the interception and the return of about 45 yards.
So anyway, we're here at halftime here from Bill Brown Stadium in Blacksburg, and once again we'll come back. We'll talk about the total yards. We'll talk about what's happened in this game, as well as some of the other games from around the area. And also it's homecoming here, so there's going to be a homecoming crowd, a homecoming parade, and they'll have the homecoming court, as they always do here at Blacksburg High School. Stay tuned. It's halftime at Bill Brown Stadium. Let's go back to the studios for a commercial break. You're listening to Bruin Football on 101.7 FM.
Missed the last town council meeting? Need to know what was on the agenda? How did the members vote? Now you can have access to town happenings 24 hours a day at www.blacksburg.gov. Click on Online Video and choose the meeting you want to watch. And there is more than just town council meetings. You can see other WTOB shows like Energy, the Historic Lecture Series, and Dodgeball. Just go to your computer and log on to www.blacksburg.gov and click on Online Video. Just one more way WTOB is your Blacksburg Community Access Station.
Welcome back to Bill Brown Stadium. John Hill along with Harley Dixon, 26-0 here at halftime. And, you know, Blacksburg once again putting on a special teams and defensive clinic, Hardy.
Yeah, it's really impressive to see all that's going on with the defense. You know, we talked about how they might have to make adjustments, missing Tyler Holmes, and adjustments made. They're flying to the ball, they're gang tackling, team tackling, and making sure that nothing gets anywhere for the Knights of Cave Spring.
Anyway, so Blacksburg putting a lot of pressure on the punt team for Cave Spring, and that's proved to be very helpful to the Blacksburg offense for field position. But, you know, when you're talking about putting pressure on there, I think they've had 5 or 4 block punts so far, 1 partially block kick. And when you got that kind of pressure coming from you, your punter's got to be thinking, oh, my goodness, here we go again. But, you know, Barrett has done a pretty good job to step up there and just go right back there and punt it again for Cave Spring.
Yeah, and you were saying that, I'm thinking to myself, okay, we've seen a lot of good from the Blacksburg defense. They've done a good job. They've, you know, and the special teams. Anytime Blacksburg has scored, there's been a touchback or very poor starting field position for Cave Spring. It's been the 20, the 20, or the 22, I believe, at one point when they did actually make a return. But I'm thinking I haven't really seen a lot of a Blacksburg offense. There hasn't been a lot. Not that there's been a lot of opportunity or a lot of field to work with. There hasn't been the time the special teams are blocking these punts. You're not giving the Bruins a lot of field to have to cover. They've only got a few yards to go to get the score, to get the field goal. So there hasn't been a lot of offensive fireworks from the Bruins in the one play that they did have, where Trey Gresh had Greg Keys over the middle, and there was the defender who grabbed the left or the right arm of Greg Keys to slow him down and not let him get to the ball, and it wasn't called. I don't want to rip on the officials. They have a tough job, and we don't have the best view of the action. They're up close. They're right there. They should have a better view. But that was something that they should have seen. That was something that doesn't go, you know, there are some other calls they've made that we haven't seen, but they're there. So you got to give them that break. But there are some questionable things that have happened so far in the first half with these officials.
Yeah, you know, Dave Christ, you got to credit him for teaching his kids not to get up in the officials' faces or other players' faces and say, oh, man, that was a bad call, whatever, because Greg Keys very well could have done that.
Sure.
But he didn't. That's a credit to that young man for just going back to the huddle and saying, okay, yeah, I got interfered with, but I'm not going to worry about it. We're going to move the ball again.
Exactly.
So.
You got to play the game, you know, and part of the game was, you know, we talked about at the opening. Part of the game is dealing with the field conditions, dealing with the temperature, dealing with the officials and how they call the game. It's something that should be equal to both teams. Sometimes it doesn't look that way. You know, you're a home team crowd, and they get a little partial, thinking all the calls should go their way, and that's understandable. You're rooting for your team. That's what you're supposed to do. Your team should win. But sometimes when you see something that blatant, you know, if it had gone the other way, if it had a Blacksburg player interfering with one of the Cave Springs players, I think that the crowd would have had the exact same reaction, saying, you know, except saying, you know, I'm kind of glad that didn't get called, as opposed to, hey, you know, that should have been called.
Anyway, Blacksburg talking about their offense, 130 yards of total offense tonight, 87 on the ground, 43 passing, and Latrell Keys with 7 carries for 19 yards. But Trey Gresh is the leading rusher, 68 yards on 7 carries, and all those have come from that quarterback keeper where he's faked to Latrell and he's gone up the center, gone off tackle, and I think maybe there was one time where he tucked up the football in the play action pass, but other than that, Trey Gresh has done a great job in running the football.
Yes, very, very much so, and fooled everybody at least once, if not a couple of times, from us up here in the booth to the crowd down below us to the Knights of Cave Spring, it's everybody has been fooled at least once or a couple of times. You were keeping stats on the running game. I was thinking about Caleb Violette. We talked about how he's a D1 kicker, and undoubtedly so. He had 1 point after that didn't get made tonight, and I'm not sure that was entirely his fault. I think it was just kind of a low kick, or and didn't quite get that up. And then 2 field goals tonight as well, and he did get the couple of extra points. So he missed 1 kick tonight, but the rest of them he has made. So again, on his track to do very well as Caleb Violette continues.
And receiving, passing Trey Gresh's 2 of 7 on the night for 43 yards. 2 of them through the air. He completed 1 of them to the number 80 Reese Witz at the 6'3" wideout, and he caught the ball and then fumbled it, and Cave Spring picked it up, but that was good for 30. And then Josh Reynolds on a 13-yard reception. So Blacksburg 130 yards of total offense. Now for Cave Spring, they have 31 yards of total offense, and at one point in the second period, it was minus 11.
I think at one point in the game it was minus 12 as well. I mean, they have had some. What was the offense they had? I'm sorry.
You want the double wing offense?
Cave Spring. How many yards have they gotten?
They got 31 total yards.
31 total yards. Yeah. But if you factor in how many they went backwards, they've been doing a little bit better than that. And so it's it's a little disappointing that the Bruins are allowing that kind of offense. But then again, they've also set them back a few. So that's a positive thing to see from the Bruins.
Yeah, Vaughn Phipps has done a great job tonight. He's mixed it up a little bit, but one thing I like of what he has done, he's brought those linebackers and put a lot of pressure and tried to just disrupt everything in the backfield. Now, in that last series when Cave Spring picked up about 30 of those 31 yards.
Yeah, it was in that
a lot of that. I mean, Vaughn wasn't blitzing. He wasn't bringing his linebackers on that play. He was just playing a straight up 5-3 or straight up 4-4, and Cave Spring started passing the ball a little bit to the flats and these kind of things. But other than that, there's really been nothing there for the Knights.
There's been nothing there for the Knights, and it comes from the speed of Blacksburg. The Knights are very big up front, and they don't have the quickness that the Bruins do, so the Bruins are getting around the edge. Or you've got Bo Gentry submarining underneath the middle when Cave Spring decided to, okay, we'll just take the snap, stand up, and throw. They got away with that once. The next time they tried that, Bo Gentry's underneath, and he tackles the quarterback for a loss before the quarterback can get rid of the ball.
Your neighbors helped save a life last night. Be a volunteer. You can help save a life. You provide the time, we'll provide the training. To learn more, call the Blacksburg Rescue Squad at 961-1189.
There is a better way to have fun with history. Visit americaslibrary.gov. Log on, play around, learn something.
Caleb Violet standing at his own 40, where he places the football. 26-0. Blacksburg leads this in the third period, and once again a complete domination, as we might call it once again, as Blacksburg always does well in the first two quarters. 129 yards of total offense for the Bruins and 31 now for Cave Spring. Caleb Violet approaching the football. Here's the kick. High end-over-end kick taken by Dyer at his 7-yard line. Crosses the 10, rolls out to the left side to the 15, to the 20, knocked down by Brock and right around the 22. So Cave Spring will take it over 1st and 10 at their own 22 with 11:55 here in the third period, trailing 26-0. And Erica, it's your turn now. Play-by-play, Erica Hanford from Newport News.
No pressure now.
I want you to call the next play. We'll help you. So here you go.
You want to move that mic a little closer.
Okay, Cave Spring with the football.
Okay, Cave Spring with the football.
Dyer's the ball carrier. And Dyer's the
ball carrier.
Eric Howard off the top for the Bruins.
Stop at
the 25, yep.
25-yard line.
There we go.
Daniel Overstreet in on tackle as well.
And Daniel makes the tackle.
Daniel makes the tackle.
Yeah, Overstreet, a big kid, 6'5", about 275, and the young man does a pretty good job. All right, here we go, second down.
It's second down.
Here's the quarterback.
There's the quarterback.
On the carry. And a host of Bruins make the play.
Dyer's the ball carrier with a host of Bruins making the play.
There you go.
Fake on the end around.
So anyway, third down and long.
Third down and long.
Now for Cave Spring. So here we go, 10:50 to go here in the third period. 26-0, Blacksburg up.
Moves pretty fast, doesn't it?
Yes, wow.
Didn't realize it went that fast.
When you're writing it.
Daniel Downing, the quarterback, in motion from left to right, comes Cavanis, and here's the play action pass. A lot of pressure, and it's going to be a sack in the backfield, but the quarterback, Daniel Downing, stays on his feet, and he's brought down right about the original line of scrimmage, and making the initial play was Eric Howard, and Eric just not big enough to hold on to him. So
well, he had to fight through another player too, and to slow down Daniel and make sure that his friends got there for the group tackle. That was an outstanding play by Eric Howard.
So fourth down, and Cave Spring will punt it away. Greg Keys standing back at his own 36.
You got to think at halftime they talked about it, better protection for this guy.
Here's the snap. Here's the kick. A little bit of pressure. A high kick taken by Greg Keys at his own 45. Fumbles the football, but picks it back up. No, he recovers it back at the 42. So Blacksburg will take it over 1st and 10, and Keys tried to pick it up off the fumble.
Coach is going to have some words about that.
Absolutely.
Son, fall on the ball. He was trying to make a play, Greg Keys was, and he was lucky to get that ball back. On the punt itself, they did have better protection for him. They picked up Walter Gachana, who was coming off the outside corner. They picked it up so that the punter had a chance to get the ball away. Better protection that time for Cave Spring.
Now last week, Northside picked up 13 points in the third period. Let's see what happens in this quarter now. All right, Blacksburg with the football, 1st and 10, 9:51 to go here in the third period. 26-0 is the Bruin lead. I formation, receivers to the right and the left. In motion from left to right goes Greg Keys. The ball on the Blacksburg 42. Gresh now barking out the signals. Hands off to Latrell Keys, the running back. Over right tackle, has some running room. Crosses the 45, across the 50-yard line, down inside Spring territory, down to the 45. And once again, Latrell Keys picking up 13 on the play, and a first down now for the Bruins.
And again, we talked about his lateral movement. He was running straight ahead to the sideline, and then had to make that cut to get up the field and start running toward the end zone. And a little slow on his turn, but he did manage to get another 10 yards on it.
So now the Bruins another first down here in this series. Gresh, the quarterback, in the shotgun. They got Greg Keys standing back I don't know what this formation is now. He comes deep back at his own 40 now. He goes up to the
formation again, I believe.
Slot formation. Here's Trey Gresh, the quarterback, in an I formation. Toss sweep to the far side goes Luttrell. Crosses the 45, and he's knocked down right around the 41-yard line, so he picks up about 4 on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 6, and once again, Luttrell Keys trying to get to the outside, and that's Luttrell's 9th carry on the night.
I'm waiting for Erica to jump back in again.
There's a flag down back at the line of scrimmage, and it looks like it's going to go against Blacksburg because they're talking to Brady Stovall, the defensive captain for the Knights. So, Erica, when you're looking at the talent from around this area, and I know you've seen a lot of it in Tidewater, and you're looking at the talent here, do you see some players that you think that could play at the D1 level?
Yes, I actually do. I think Luttrell Keys does a very good job of carrying the ball. In the first game against Graham that I watched, he did a great job. I believe he ended up having more, maybe 160 yards.
Yeah, I think it was, yep.
So he did a very good job carrying the ball in that game. And I also like the quarterback, Trey Gresh. He definitely does a good job of getting the ball down the field and getting it to his man.
Here's that junior quarterback rolling out to the left, throws it to Blackwell. It falls incomplete at about the 41 of K Springs, so it's going to be now a 2nd and long for the Bruins.
Yeah, that was the little bit of Trey Gresh's inconsistency. Right as he's getting the compliment from America, he drives one into the ground.
So the Blacksburg offense now has a 2nd and 20, and Blackwell back in the lineup. In the lineup as well as Josh Reynolds and Woodell back in there. So wide to the left comes Greg Keys and Woodell. And the I formation wide right goes Reynolds and Blackwell. On this 2nd and long, here's Trey Gresh in the shotgun, standing back at his 40. 4-man rush. Here comes the blitz by K Spring, picked up well by the Blacksburg offensive line. Here's a throw deep. He has Greg Keys. He has to complete to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Blacksburg. Greg Keys catches a 55-yard touchdown pass, and Blacksburg goes up 32-0. A great pass from Trey Gresh.
We talked about in the opening. We talked about the offensive line making things possible for the Blacksburg offense, for making holes for Luttrell, and in that case, picking up the blitz. They never got to Trey Gresh, and he had plenty of time to hit Keys down the middle for the touchdown.
So a 55-yarder and a touchdown from a nice toss and catch from Gresh to Keys. And here's the extra point attempt by Caleb Violette for Blacksburg. And here's the snap, and it's down, and the kick is up, and it's going to go through. It's going to be good. So let's take a timeout with 8:56 to go here in the 3rd period to score Blacksburg 33, K Spring nothing. Let's pause and hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Blacksburg Bruin Football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
But we've done some things where he jumps off from the side. And we've done some things passing him back and forth. We've done some activities where he floats on his back and on his stomach. I think swimming is a fun thing you can do with your kid. And I think it's good for kids to learn about being in the water.
The Water Babies class is one of the many classes that the Blacksburg Parks and Rec Department has to offer for you and your child. Call 961-1135 or visit www.blacksburg.gov/recreation.
Welcome back to Burl Brown Stadium. Boy, that's a disturbing score. Salem 28, Christiansburg nothing. And, Christiansburg went into this game, and, of course, they've had a couple of injuries as well. Blacksburg, of course, playing without Tyler Holmes tonight, which hurts Blacksburg, but really that's not apparent with this big a score. Here's the kickoff taken by Dyer. Back at his 3-yard line, he crosses the 10, moves the ball down to the 15, and knocked down about the 17-yard line on a great open field tackle by Joey Phillips. So it's a 1st and 10 now for K Spring.
I was also thinking, Tom gave us the score of Giles, 31-0 over Radford, and I was thinking, Christiansburg beat Giles, and Giles beat Blacksburg, although, they both, that could have gone either way. It's just, there's so much parity right now in this district, and that's no wonder there are 4 teams in the AP top 20.
And you don't know, once again, you got to come up and be ready to play every single Friday night. Here we go. It's 1st and 10 now for K Spring. Dyer in motion from right to left. The handoff goes to Dyer. It goes over left tackle, crosses the 20, moves the ball down to the 23-yard line, picking up right around 4 yards on the carry. 5 yards will give it, so it's 2nd and 5 for the junior running back. 8:37 to go. Blacksburg up 33-0. And Blacksburg making those substitutions at this point, and You know, once again, Eric, I know that coming from Tidewater, you got a little bit warmer temperatures down there. When you came to Technet, I mean, you know, it got kind of cold.
Yes, it got very cold. I've been freezing. A nice man let me borrow his gloves. So that helped out a lot.
All right, here we go. K-Spring with the ball, running over left tackle is Dyer, and he's stacked up right there by Daniel Overstreet. And Daniel making the big play, the big guy, the 6'5", 275-pounder. Knocking the running back down, and it's 3rd down and 4.
You know, you mentioned some of the other players coming in, and that may be one of the reasons that Blacksburg's so hot in the first half, is that they are getting some other players in the second half to get them the experience, because, you know, if Salem's up on Christiansburg is a good team, and if Salem's up 28-0, then you're going to need these kids to have the experience, game experience, and it's a real fortunate, real good idea for Coach to get them in and get them some game experience.
There's the fake tall sweep, and the inside reverse goes to number 17, Brady Stovall. He's knocked down back behind the line of scrimmage, so it brings up 4th down and 5, and here comes the punting team again.
You just got to,
Now, this is where you got to be thinking. I mean, they got to have some kind of fake in here, obviously. Blacksburg's got to pay attention to that.
And they're in a better field position to try that. I mean, they're still on their side of the 50, but on their side of the 25, actually.
Blacksburg 10 men up on the line of scrimmage. And here's Barrett standing back at his 10. There's the snap. Here's the kick. And it's a long kick taken by Greg Keys back at his 39. He takes the football, crosses the 45, goes up the middle, across the 50, has some running room to the 45, and finally knocked down at about the K-Spring 43. So a nice return by Greg Keys, and the Bruins will have it 1st and 10 with 6:49 to go here in the 3rd period, up 33-0.
And Keys waiting, taking that stutter step to try and set up his blocks to make sure that he had some space, and it was... I'm trying to figure out how to describe that little stutter step he made with the kind of a dance move. If he turned in a circle, you would have called it a pirouette, but that one I'm not sure about. Erica's cracking up. She's throwing me off.
Okay, so 1st and 10 now for the Bruins. And Trey Gresh, still the quarterback now for Blacksburg. In the I formation, tight end to the right, wide receivers to the left and the right. Up under center now goes the 6'1", 200-pound junior quarterback. Gresh back in the pocket, hands off to Latrell Keys. He's smacked back behind the line of scrimmage, and a nice hit there by Matt Simonik, a 6'1", 190-pound senior, makes the play. So
it was a very good hit, knocked Latrell backwards, and it was fortunate that Keys held on to the ball. He got smacked.
So now Blacksburg getting into play from the sideline, and Gresh now brings out his tight end, number 85, Aaron Barber, in the lineup, along with Joey Phillips. Wide left comes Keys and Josh Reynolds. And Aaron Barber, the tight end to the right, I formation. The ball sitting on the right hash, moving from right to left here. Excuse me, here in the 3rd period. Handoff goes to Latrell. He's going to be hitting the backfield. He stays on his feet, gets back to the original line of scrimmage. So really some nice running by Latrell as K-Spring brought both linebackers on that play, so it brings up 3rd and long.
A couple of stiff arms for Latrell to knock the tacklers to the ground so that he could get back to the line of scrimmage.
And a couple of substitutions now. Blackwell in and Woodell in for the Bruins. Out comes Barber and Phillips.
We talked about Blackwell in the opening. Is this another 3rd down conversion for this young man?
It just might be. Trip receivers to the left for Blacksburg in the shotgun. That's what they call the pistol set, as we said before. Trey Gresh, quarterback, back in the pocket. Looking for receiver, throws it down the field. It's going to be incomplete. Looking for Greg Keys, went right over his head at the 30-yard line. So Caleb Violet will come in and punt the football for only the 2nd time tonight. So with 5:22 to go in a 33-0 lead, Blacksburg will turn it back over to the Knights.
And pin the Knights back down in negative territory again. Battle of field position definitely, along with the score, being won by Blacksburg.
So the Bruins with 194 yards of total offense up to this point.
But a nice stop for Cave Spring to actually come out and stop the Bruins this time.
So Caleb standing back at his own 46. Dyer, deep for Cave Spring, waiting to receive the punt back at his 10. Here's the snap, here's the kick, no pressure. A nice high spiral. It's going to hit right about the 5-yard line and rolls into the end zone. So a nice 44-yard punt for Caleb Violet, and K Spring will take it over 1st and 10 at their own 20.
And a nice job of the receiver. He was up on about the 10 or 15, signaled fair catch, eyes up to the sky, and did throw off the Blacksburg players a little bit, slowed them down, waiting for them to anticipating he was actually going to catch the ball when it went over his head.
But you can catch the replay of this game and every Blacksburg High School home game on WTOB Channel 2 on Mondays at 7 p.m. and Wednesdays at 3 p.m. And you can also watch them anytime you want on the web at www.blacksburg.gov. That's a lot of W's. Wow.
Well, you can skip the W's.
Okay. Well, here we go. 1st and 10 now for the Knights at their own 20. And the quarterback is Downing. 5:15 to go here in the third period. Handoff goes to the way back, and here is Cavanis. Crosses the 30 to the 35 to the 40 in Blacksburg territory. He goes down the sidelines at the 30 and is finally brought down by Robert Sterrett at the Blacksburg 22-yard line. So finally you're seeing those running backs. Tyler Cavanis breaks loose and picks up some big yardage. And now Cave Spring threatening here early in the third period.
Yeah, it was a play designed to play off the speed of Blacksburg. They had made some cuts inside, up the field, outside, and opened up a hole in the center, which is where the runner for Cave Spring went right through and did get 50 yards or so.
So 63 yards on that carry for Cavanis, or 57 yards, excuse me, and now the official stopped the play as the ball was being snapped in a timeout by Blacksburg.
Or an instant replay. I think they're checking the film.
There you go. With 4:57 to go here in the third period to score Blacksburg 33 and Cave Spring nothing. Let's pause for a moment and hear these words from our sponsors.
Whether it's arts and culture, community events, great places to eat and shop, exciting athletics. You'll find it all in Blacksburg, the place to be.
33 to nothing. Blacksburg leading this. An update on that score. Salem leading Christiansburg 28 to nothing. That's in the third period, and we'll get some more information on that game. A little bit of a surprise there. I didn't think, I thought maybe Salem could win that game, but not with that kind of score. Here we go on a 1st and 10 inside reverse and a fumble, and Blacksburg recovers at the 26-yard line, so the Bruins will get it back.
You mean Christiansburg? You were thinking Christiansburg could win.
Christiansburg,
Yeah. You said, that's fine.
Okay, on the recovery was number 9, Joey Phillips, so the Bruins will have it 1st and 10.
Yeah, so they make the Cave Spring gets a positive play all the way down to 57 yards, and Blacksburg calls timeout, says, "Hey guys, what are we doing?" Force the fumble. Blacksburg gets the ball back.
So Trey Gresh still in the lineup now for the Bruins. Twin receivers to the right and the left, and I guess what happened last week, you don't want Cave Spring to have to come back, so Dave Chris just trying to control the clock here. A handoff goes to the fullback, and a fumble recovered by number 3 of Cave Spring, Kevin Reeder, at the Blacksburg 34. So the Knights will take it over 1st and 10.
Yeah, we talked about Luttrell's ankle, and there may be something wrong because that's his second fumble tonight that he's lost. I think it's probably the 3rd fumble he's had tonight.
So Luttrell Keys, and of course, he's been, I guess what you call been hit a lot tonight. He hadn't had a lot of running room as he normally has. Luttrell right now with 10 carries, 9 carries on the night for, 30 yards? I think it is. There we go. 37 yards on 12 carries. I'm sorry. So 1st and 10 now for Cave Spring at the Blacksburg 34. 4:49 to go here in the third. Here's the quarterback Downing, and the whistle's going to blow once again. And there's a timeout by Blacksburg. And once again, I'm sure that it has to go back to that set.
I can't help but
they're out of position.
I was thinking maybe Coach was playing with them a little bit. The ice the kicker play that you saw in the Dallas game, Dallas and Buffalo game last Monday night. The ice the kicker. He's just about to snap the ball. We're going to call a timeout. That's what flashed through my head.
Yeah, and Von Phipps out there talking to his defense and telling them to watch out, guys. You got the reverse coming. You got that little reverse pass coming, and a lot of little different wrinkles that Cave Spring throws into the offense. A play we haven't seen since the first quarter, Harley, was that motion guy coming across the middle and taking the snap. The center snaps it to that motion guy.
Yeah, and that's going to happen, I'm pretty sure, because they were sitting there. Was very close to happening once or twice already. While we have a second and get through this timeout, remember that the next Saturday, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Blacksburg High School gym, a fundraiser for the Patrick Days family. You're certainly invited to that. Ticket to the door for $5. You can get a play for Patrick T-shirt, $10, and all the proceeds that benefit Patrick Day's family, so they can make the continuing round trips to Charlottesville to see him.
K-Spring 1st and 10 at the 34 of Blacksburg. A motion from right to left comes Dyer, and here's the quarterback Downing back in the pocket, throws it deep down the left side, and it's going to be intercepted. No, landed out of the hands of Josh Reynolds, as he was just standing there waiting for the ball to come down to him, so it's going to be 2nd and 10.
It looked like Downing threw the ball to where the player was, forgetting that he was running forward, and the Blacksburg player adjusted to that while the receiver didn't make the adjustment, continued into the end zone, and the only player there to catch the ball was Blacksburg.
You know, Harley, when we got here tonight, the temperature was right in the mid-50s. At kickoff, the temperature dropped to right around the upper 40s, and it's gotten a little bit colder as the night goes on. And I've watched Trey Gresh and Daniels both throw the football, and to some degree that ball's kind of wobbly, so it means their hands a little bit cold and slipping out of their hands. So here we go on the 2nd and 10. Inside reverse comes to Cavanis, and he moves the ball down to the Blacksburg 31, picking up maybe 2 on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and long.
I would agree, not only would the hands be cold, but the ball's sitting on the turf. The ball's not getting, the only time the ball gets any human warmth is when it's in the gut of the running back. So it's not getting warmed up all that much. So it's not just the hands that are cold, it's the ball that's cold, and it's harder to throw that stiff of an object.
So 3rd and long now for K-Spring, trailing 33-0. 4:10 to go here in the 3rd period. Moving from left to right on the Blacksburg 31 on the right hash. The quarterback is Downing, 5'11" senior now. Back in the pocket, throws it to the far side of the field, and it's going to be almost intercepted. Threw it right into the hands of Josh Reynolds. The intended receiver was Cavanis, and I'm going to tell you what,
Cavanis turned into the defender.
Yeah, and Cavanis, obviously, if he didn't pay attention to that, Josh Reynolds looked like he could have had that and gone for a touchdown.
And exactly, Cavanis is the one that turned around and came from behind to knock that ball free and make sure that there was no interception.
So 4th down and 7 now for K-Spring.
And they're in a position here on Blacksburg's end of the field where they're going to have to go for it.
So K-Spring did not score last week. They lost 42-0 to Williamsburg, being shut out tonight and trying to put some points on the board. On the 4th down in the shotgun is Downing standing back at his own 36, takes the snap, looks for a receiver, has some pressure. He's going to be sacked back behind the line of scrimmage, and making the initial lick was Phillips, but wrapping him up back at the 36 is Adam Siegel. So Blacksburg will take it over 1st and 10 at their own 36-yard line.
Yeah, another team tackle and another team effort from Blacksburg to cover all the receivers, to make sure he had nowhere to throw it, not give him the time to even look much further, and not to make his progressions down to a 2nd or 3rd receiver, and then to knock him down for a sack.
Harley, next week is going to prove to be a huge game for the River Ridge District. Not that the game tonight was it, but next Friday night, Salem, the Spartans, traveling to Bill Brown Stadium. Airtime's going to be 7 o'clock, 7:30 the kickoff, and that game's looking to be a huge game at this point.
At this point, it's shaping up to be huge with what Salem is doing to Christiansburg and what the Bruins here are doing to Cave Spring. It looks like that's probably the showdown in the state next Friday night.
Twin receivers to the left, Trey Gresh, the quarterback, and hands it off to Luttrell. Luttrell crosses the 40 down to the 45. He runs over to the K-Spring defender right about the 46-yard line, and Kevin Reeder making the tackle, but not before Luttrell picks up the first.
And that time he did exactly what I talked about him not doing in the first quarter. That time he saw the hit coming. He lowered his shoulder. He got to the lower, and he delivered the hit instead of taking the hit.
So 11 yards on that scamper for the senior running back for the Bruins. 3:35 to go in the 3rd period. 33-0. Blacksburg leading this. Wide right goes Reynolds and Keys in the slot. Tight end to left is Barber in the I formation. Is Luttrell Keys. Handoff goes to Luttrell up the middle, and he scoots across the 50, drags a couple of K-Spring defenders with him down to the 48-yard line, and Luttrell picking up about 7 yards on the carry. It's going to be 2nd and 3, but once again, Luttrell Keys just powering his way right up the gut.
That's the power of those legs. He was stopped at the 49 of Blacksburg, and then he carried 3 or 4 tacklers another 3-4 yards to get to the 48 of Cave Spring.
We'll say 6 on the carry, 2nd and 4. Wide left comes Woodell. Wide right goes Reynolds and Keys in the slot. Tight end is Barber here on the left side. Going from right to left is the Bruin offense, and Trey Gresh hands off to Luttrell once again, and he pulls his way across the 45 of Cave Spring down to the 44, very close to the first down, and Luttrell Keys once again, he gets that football, he looks for that block, and he just ducks his head and goes.
Yeah, and they marked him down at the 45. I thought he hadn't hit the ground until he'd gotten to the 44.
I didn't think so either, but once again, the officials have a better spot than we do, so third down and a very long one now for the Bruins. 2:18 to go here in the third. High formation. Reynolds goes wide to the right and Keys to the left. Tight end is Barber at the right side. Ball sitting on the left hash. Gresh under center, and he's going to go with a cadence that's going to bring the Cave Spring offense or defense across the line of scrimmage, and I think this is going to be against the Knights.
I would think so. There was a couple of pops. You could hear some of the hits up here in the booth.
So anyway, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down now for the Bruins as they'll spot it at the 40 of Cave Spring. And Blacksburg starting to threaten once again here in the third.
Give you the address for Patrick Day again if you'd like to send a card. That's the Kluge Children's Rehabilitation Center, care of Patrick Day, 2270 Ivy Road, Charlottesville, 22903. I'll repeat that again after this play.
In the eye, Gresh, the quarterback under center, hands off to Luttrell over right tackle, and he's hit around the 40. He scoots across the 38 to the 37. He's going to be marked down at the 36-yard line. So anyway, he picks up right around 5 yards on the carry, 2nd and 5. And once again, that was all Luttrell.
It was. There slight hole that opened up. He managed to shoot through it and make the gain, most of it on his own. Again, for Patrick Day, Kluge Children's Rehabilitation Center, 2270 Ivy Road, Charlottesville, 22903. And don't forget, next Saturday night, the BHS High School Gym, 6 to 9 p.m. $5 gets you in the door.
Nice to have Michael Quinn back as well. Here we go on the 2nd and 5. The shotgun snap goes to Gresh. He hands it off once again to Luttrell Keys, and Keys moves it down to the 32, picking up a couple on the play. We'll call it third down and right around a long 2 yards now for the Bruins.
You touched on this earlier, John, and exactly what Coach is doing. There's not a lot of passing now. He's just running and running and running to keep the clock moving so that they can get out of here with the win.
So no substitutions at this point, and Trey Gresh getting the signal from the sidelines. And once again, Virginia Tech taking on Duke tomorrow, and airtime is going to be 9 o'clock in the morning for the tailgate show on the Bear, 105.3, our sister station. Airtime now for the Virginia Tech ISP broadcast of Duke, and Virginia Tech will be at 10:30. Bill and Mike bringing you all the play-by-play action. Here's Trey Gresh, the quarterback, back in the pocket, throws it out to the far side, has Woodell. It's complete to the Cave Spring 26-yard line, so a nice tossing catch from the quarterback to the wide receiver, and they pick up about 6 on the play. Is another first down for the Bruins.
Another first down, temporarily stopped the clock, but again, he didn't go out of bounds, so that once the ball is set, the clock starts running again.
So now here come a couple of substitutions in for the Bruins. Here comes Blackwell in the lineup for Blacksburg. Clock is moving, 20 seconds to go here in the third period. The Bruins up 33-0, and here's Trey Gresh, the quarterback once again in the shotgun. Twin receivers to the right and the left. Running back is Luttrell Keys. Here comes the handoff to Keys up the middle, has some running room, crosses the 20 to the Cave Spring 16-yard line, and Luttrell picking up about 8 yards on the carry. It's going to be 2nd and 2, but once again, Luttrell scooting and following those blocks and picking up some good yards.
Yeah, just scooted right by Matt Simonik, number 11 for Cave Spring, and just, left him going one direction while Luttrell cut the other way and got another 6 yards out of it.
That's the end of the third period with the score. Blacksburg 33 and Cave Spring nothing. We'll return for more action from Bill Brown Stadium of Blacksburg, but let's first hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Blacksburg Bruin Football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
I want to make a difference, and change happens one person at a time.
Giving a little can go a long way.
I give to the United Way because I believe in helping in my community wherever I can.
And Luttrell Keys picks up about 5 or 6 yards on the carry, picking up at the first for Blacksburg. So with 11:56 here in the fourth period, the Bruins up 33-0. They're threatening again as they spot the ball down at the 11.
Wow.
Can you believe that score?
35-0. Salem beating Christiansburg.
That hurts, and that's at Christiansburg.
Wow. That was at Christiansburg, and that's a final.
So, and also Hidden Valley Pulaski, great game going on there as well. All right, first and 10 now for the Bruins at the K-Spring 11. Here's the receiver to the right. That's Wood, LI formation. And here's the handoff goes to Latrell Keys. He's hit right about the line of scrimmage. And the initial hit was made by Matt Simonik, the senior linebacker, so it brings up a second and 10. Not much there. So the Bruins will be taking on Salem next Friday night here at Blacksburg High School here at Bill Brown Stadium. Airtime's going to be 7 o'clock, and once again, kickoff at 7:30, and that's going to be a most interesting ball game, I promise you. All right, wide to the left goes Gachana. Wide to the right comes Reese Whitson. In the I formation, here's Trey Gresh, the quarterback, under center, and hands off to Latrell up the gut. Has some running room. He goes into the end zone, untouched. Touchdown, Blacksburg. For 12 yards out, Latrell Keys put 6 on the board. Blacksburg is up 39-0.
That was that same play again that they sometimes Trey would hand it off and sometimes Trey would keep it. That time, you teach the defense, you got to respect it both ways. That time, he handed the ball off to Latrell. The offensive line opened up a huge hole, and Latrell has the speed just to make sure that he gets through there and was pretty much untouched into the end zone.
Hardly nobody touched him. It was a beautiful run. Here's Caleb Violette for the extra point for the Bruins. And there's the snap. It's down. The kick is up, and it's going to be good. So let's take this time out. With 11:10 to go here in the fourth period, to score Blacksburg 40, K-Spring nothing. Let's pause for 60 seconds and hear this word from our sponsors. You are listening to Blacksburg Bruin Football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Okay, we've got 2 8 o'clocks and then 8:30. I'm on my way. Have I forgotten anything? Of course I haven't forgotten anything. Are you nuts? A little bit more professional than that. There's just not enough hours in the day.
You know, there's easier ways to get internet on the go. Select Blacksburg Transit buses now offer free Wi-Fi wireless internet to facilitate all of your online needs. Just look for the Wi-Fi sign. Blacksburg Transit. Take a ride on the Information Superhighway.
Welcome back to Bill Brown Stadium. Here's the kickoff, and it's going to go out of the end zone, so K-Spring will take it over first and 10.
There's a little bit of altercation between 16 of Cave Spring and 26 for Blacksburg. A little extra
curricular activities.
Yeah.
Isn't that a class? Don't you take a class on that, on the football field? Extracurricular activities.
Maybe at what was that Tennessee school?
Well, come on. What was that Michigan State school?
Yeah, see, you got my Michigan State dig earlier. I'll just let it go.
He graduated from Michigan State, and, they played this directional school. Like I sent him an email saying, is that a direction to Canada or what? I don't know.
Yeah, they lost to Northwestern, and life goes on still.
All right, here we go. The quarterback down. He back in the pocket. Has a little bit of running room as he escapes out of the pocket. Gets the ball to the 25, picking up 5 on the play.
But they're favored against Indiana tomorrow.
I tell you what, it's going to be a tough game for them.
Yes.
Indiana's doing a great job.
Indiana is the surprise. Indiana, Illinois, surprising the Big Ten this year.
Ron Zook, the head coach of Illinois, was the defensive coordinator here at Virginia Tech back a few years ago. So there's that Virginia Tech connection once again to the Big Ten.
I'm sure he learned a lot, and that's one of the reasons he's successful now at Illinois, is what he learned from Frank Beamer.
I'm sure it was. Anyway, here we go. 2nd down and 5 for the Knights, trailing 40-0. They are 10:18 to go here in the fourth period. Quarterback back in the pocket, throws it out to the near flat, and he's knocked down. That was Zach Osborne, the intended receiver, and Josh Reynolds breaks on the football, making the play and breaking the pass up. What was the score of that Northwestern game?
I honestly don't recall. It was very close. I think
they forget, don't they?
No, it was
very quickly.
Here it was. It was in overtime. The Northwestern kicked the field goal, so it was a 3-point loss.
I was going to ask Erica, has
43-40.
she ever heard of Michigan State, by the way? I mean, they're in that Big Ten. Here we go.
Okay, what are the odds of her hearing of Michigan State versus Eastern Tennessee?
Third down, here's
Bible
the pass.
College or whatever
It's going to be out of bounds. It's going to be fourth down for Cave Spring. But I'm just going to say, when you're around Virginia Tech, I mean, you're talking about big-time football. You're talking about Michigan State. Oh, well. I mean, go figure. Then we got this little school for Boone.
You could talk big-time basketball if you're talking Michigan State.
Now, when was the last time they won a national championship?
2000.
Good gracious, that was eons ago. Real basketball is played in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
So they would have you believe.
No, I just think that's fine.
I will say the ACC Big Ten Challenge, the ACC whips the Big Ten every year.
Yeah, there you go. Take place Penn State in that challenge. Here's the kick, it's blocked by Blacksburg, and it's going out of bounds at about the 32, so the Bruins will take it over first and 10, and there initially was Josh Rendell's. Flags are going to go down, though. Well, let's see what that was about.
Well, if that's blocking or running into the kicker, the ball's tipped, there shouldn't be a penalty.
And let's see if the officials, if that's the case, let's see if they wave it off. And I think that's what they're going to do. Vaughn Phipps calling his defense over and saying, listen, guys, come on over here. And it looks like to me that they're waving it off, absolutely. So the Bruins will take it over first and 10 at the Cave Spring 32-yard line.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. They called roughing the kicker, but the ball was tipped, so they waved the flag off.
Giles Spartans rolling 34-0 right now on Radford, and Giles, I'm going to tell you what, that looks like they're heading toward another state title run. Steve Ragsdale doing, once again, that job he does as always.
Yeah, but Giles one loss to Christiansburg.
There you go.
Who just got beat by Salem.
Purcell, the quarterback in the lineup, hands off to John Jennings, the junior running back for Blacksburg, moves the ball back to the original line of scrimmage, second down and 10. So Blacksburg now with some different players in the lineup. We'll get some of those names for you. In there wideout is Nicholas Carroll. Now in the lineup for Blacksburg comes Jake Morrison. Also in the lineup is number 86. That's Shane Jackson. So getting some different players in here. Blacksburg up 40-0. 8:15 to go here in the ball game. And Parcell, the quarterback, with the ball at the 32. Receivers to the right and the left, I formation. Case Spring in a four-man front. And we'll see if they bring the linebackers. They do. Here's Jennings once again on the carry. He picks up nothing on the play. And, that play was stopped pretty much in the backfield when the outside linebacker for Cave Spring, and that was number 55, Tucker Green, kind of disrupted things in the backfield, so it's third down and long for the Bruins.
And Jacob Walters pulling the running back down on top of him and finally wrestling the ball away from him, but well after the whistle was done.
Next Friday night, an important game in the River Ridge District once again, at a huge game, Blacksburg-Salem. Airtime's going to be 7 o'clock right here from Bill Brown Stadium. Kickoff at 7:30. Wide receiver to the left is Austin Kennedy. Wide to the right is Gachana. Here's number 3, Josh Parcell, the quarterback under center, the senior. Now directing this Bruin offense on third and long. Here's the I formation, and the handoff goes to Eric Howard. He has some running room, crosses the 30 down to the 25, and finally knocked down about the 24-yard line on a great open field tackle by Zach Osborne. Very short, about of a yard to the first down. Let's see what happens and see what Dave Chris wants to do at this point.
Yeah, that was an incredible open field tackle. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. He put his shoulder pads right into Eric Howard's hip, take his legs right out from under him, and that's the way they teach it.
Eric, 5'5", 144 pounds. Took a pretty good lick there, but got some great yardage. Picks up about 9 on the carry. So fourth down and short now for the Bruins. With 6:31 to go here in the ball game, leading 40-0.
Educational opportunity. Instead of going for the field goal, they'll run another play.
There you go. Parcell, the quarterback, I formation. And the handoff goes to Eric Howard. He's stuffed back behind the line of scrimmage, and there is that number 55 once again. And that was the outside linebacker, Tucker Green, making the play. So Cave Spring will take it over on down.
Yeah, that one, he had that one dialed in.
Wow.
Mr. Green. I said, hello, you're going on your back now.
That was a 190-pounder on a 144-pounder. But Eric says, okay, that's football.
But, that was a learning opportunity for Blacksburg. Instead of just padding the score with another kick, you can make that. Violette can make that kick. So you give your kids a chance to do some learning on the field.
All right, here we go. 1st and 10 now for tonight's motion from right to left. There's that play we were talking about. As the snap goes to Dyer, he crosses the 30, has some open running room, and he's hit right about the 41, 42-yard line, and he drags the Blacksburg defender, and which was Shane Jackson. He drags him down to the 44, so some big yardage on the play, and K-Spring gets the first.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Center right to the streaking linebacker, or streaking runner right through the backfield, and the Blacksburg player took quite a hit on that, but managed to hang on to bring the player down. Otherwise, it would have been a touchdown for Cave Spring.
So 18 yards on that carry. Wide right goes Kevin Reeder, and wide to the left comes Zach Osborne, the junior. Here's the motion man, Dyer, and snap goes back to the fullback, and up the middle is going to go to the big guy, Darrell Keating, as he crosses the 50 down to the Blacksburg 46. And Keating picking up about 11 yards and another first down for the Knights.
And another little bit of misdirection for the Knights. Snap comes back directly to the running back, and Daniel Downing jumps up in the air like the ball went over his head. Do a little bit of theater to try and make a little more room, a little mental room for Cave Spring.
5 minutes even here left in the ball game. Cave Spring moving the football to Blacksburg 46 in the shotgun as Downing standing back at his own 48. He throws the ball deep down the right sideline. He has a receiver open, and it's going to fall incomplete as Kevin Reeder had a step on the Blacksburg defensive back, Ryan Cox, so it brings up 2nd down and 10.
He had no time to wait. He had to get that ball off right when he did, because another second he would have been on his, well, he was on his back right after he let the ball go. And because he had to rush that throw, it was a little overthrown and just a hair out of the receiver's grasp.
And in the lineup, I'll try to get some of these kids, some of the names on here. In the lineup, David Cook is in there, a linebacker. Also for Blacksburg is Troy Whittier. And then one of my favorites is Eric Sunshine. So here we go. Here's the snap, comes back to Dyer, and he's going to be hit back behind the line of scrimmage. He's dragged down by Blacksburg's defensive end, Madison Ritter, on the play.
It was another one of those plays, snapping right to the runner, coming across the backfield, and Blacksburg dialed that one up right away.
So, excuse me, that was Evan Sunshine, number 83 on the tackle. So, a nice play by the Bruins. It brings up 3rd down and 15. 3:49 to go here in this ball game, here on this Friday night from Bill Brown Stadium. Wide to the left comes Osborne. Flags go down. And let's see what this is about. It looks like to me it's going to be a illegal procedure or just too much time.
Some of the other players for Blacksburg in the game right now, 23 Dave Cook.
Illegal substitution by Blacksburg, so you're trying to get kids in and out and playing, and you're going to make those mistakes.
Brad Graves, 33, is in there as well.
So here we go, a whole completely new defense for the Bruins, and now the officials are stopping play once again. And Vaughn Phipps coming on the field, and I think Blacksburg is going to take a timeout. So we'll take a timeout as well. With 3:39 to go here in the ball game, to score Blacksburg 40, K-Spring nothing. Let's pause for a 30-second timeout and hear these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Blacksburg Bruin football on Super Talk 101.7 FM.
Missed the last town council meeting? Need to know what was on the agenda? How did the members vote? Now you can have access to town happenings 24 hours a day at www.blacksburg.gov. Click on Online Video and choose the meeting you want to watch. And there is more than just town council meetings. You can see other WTOB shows like Energy, the Historic Lecture Series, and Dodgeball. Just go to your computer and log on to www.blacksburg.gov and click on Online Video. Just one more way WTOB is your Blacksburg Community Access Station.
All right, here we go back at Bill Brown Stadium. It's a 3rd and long now for K-Spring at the Blacksburg 46. Here's the snap, goes back to Downing. He throws it across the middle. It's going to fall incomplete to Cavanis as he drops it right about the Blacksburg 40. So here we go again, a 4th down and long situation for K-Spring. Obviously, they're going to go for it.
They're going to have to go for it here.
3:27 to go. And Erica, once again, getting you back here on the mic. And from this point and what you've seen tonight, and this Blacksburg offense putting 40 points on the board, and of course Salem coming up next week, it's going to be a huge game.
Yes, I definitely think it's going to be a huge game, and it's sad to see that Christian Bird couldn't hold up against Salem, but it's definitely going to be a good game next week with Blacksburg holding them to 0 points and Salem doing a great job on this Christian Bird.
There you go, and here was the 4th down pass. It went from Downing looking for Zach Osborne to the Blacksburg 34. Nicely broken up by Blacksburg's defense back, Mark Henson. Hey, the Bruins will take it over 1st and 10 with 3 minutes to go even here in this ballgame.
Give proper credit. Also, 15 Casey Harrison in the game for a couple of plays. Want to make sure that while he's in there, we get his name called.
You can catch the replay of this game on every Blacksburg High School home game on WTOB Channel 2 on Mondays at 7 p.m. and Wednesdays at 3 p.m. And you can also watch them anytime you want on the web at www.blacksburg.com.
See, she says www too.
Yes, she did.
Yeah,
That's
see?
fine.
I'm telling you.
I was just trying to make it easier for you there, boss man.
All right, here we go, 1st and 10, and Parcell, the quarterback in the lineup. Here's Eric Howard, goes up the middle and gets some good yardage, crosses the 50 into K-Spring territory, and finally knocked down at the 45, and once again very close to the 1st. Eric picking up some pretty good yardage here in the 4th period.
Jazzy Arsalan in the play for Blacksburg on that one. He's now coming off the field. Trying to get some of these other numbers here.
Who's your number 1 team in the country, college football? LSU?
You still have to say LSU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. It's not California, is it?
No, that's not a place you want to be.
Here we go on a 2nd and short for the Bruins. Parcell, the quarterback in the shotgun, hands off to Jennings. He goes right up the gut. He's hit right back at the original line of scrimmage, picking up nothing, so it's going to be a 3rd down and short once again for the Bruins.
Shane Jackson in there for Blacksburg as well, number 86.
Dave getting some other players. Justin Huff in the lineup. Madison Ritter in there as well.
Oh, see who's coming off now there, John?
Out comes Mike Quinn.
Oh, that's excellent that he got in the game. That's fantastic. Nice to see him back.
Yeah, Mike suffering a brown recluse spider bite back during the preseason and just now getting back, so good to see that young man back in the lineup. All right, 3rd and short now for the Bruins at the K-Spring 45. Parcell, the quarterback under center, I formation, receivers to the right and the left. K-Spring in a 4-man front. And Parcells fumbles the football, picks it up, and runs to the outside. And guess what? He's going to pick up the 1st down, but flags fly in the backfield. And Parcell moves the ball down to right around the 41-yard line. He got the 1st, but it's going to be against the Bruins.
Yeah, probably holding. It's, you drop the ball, trying to make something out of nothing, and the play kind of busts up, and your offensive linemen tend to grab a little bit.
So the officials have done a pretty good job tonight, I thought. And now a couple of more substitutions back in the lineup for Blacksburg. Out comes Ritter, and in comes Shane Jackson. Also in the lineup is Mark Henson.
See Mark Kipps in there as well. Nice to see him back in there.
Yep, Mark has had one of those nagging ankle injuries that several Blacksburg kids have had during the course of the season. 1:05 to go here in the 4th period. Blacksburg up 40-0. And once again, if you're K-Spring, you're beginning to wonder a little bit about, what your offense is doing, because now, if this shutout continues, this will be 2 games in a row. The Knights have not scored. Parcell, the quarterback, under center. Here on 3rd down and long. Here's the quarterback sneak. Up the middle goes Josh Parcell as he scoots across the 50 down to the K-Spring 45, and it's going to be 4th and short once again.
You said under center. The center this time was Devin Skidder, the junior, and he shot out of there, opened up a big hole for the quarterback sneak up the middle.
Is he the theater guy?
Yes, he is.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
What kind of plays are they doing this fall?
I'm not sure what they're doing right now. I know that last year it was Wonderful Town. Did a good job with that.
All right, here we go. It's 4th down and short now for the Bruins at the K-Spring 45. 16 seconds to go in this ball game, and Josh Parcell's looking up at the clock. He's just going to try to let this thing run out, and he's going to get another quarterback sneak, picks up the 1st down, and guess what, folks? That's going to be the football game. So they're stopping the clock with 3 seconds, and once again they'll displace the ball and start the clock, but that's going to be the game. Blacksburg winning it 40-0, and I'm going to tell you what, Harley, Blacksburg has done themselves proud, and especially the defense. Even though K-Spring had 130 yards of total offense, a lot of that came here in the 4th period.
Yeah, it's another story. kind of the same old for Blacksburg. They're getting most of their points in the first half. First quarter, second quarter is when they really explode, and they get the big lead. And then in the second or third and fourth quarter, especially in the fourth quarter, they're bringing in the less experienced players to get them the experience, because with all the nagging injuries that we've had that Blacksburg has suffered, you never know when you're going to need to bring in somebody, to replace a Tyler Holmes, so that you have the experience now with these players getting a little bit against a decent quality team in Camp Spring.